I'm gonna welcome Jody Sue. Hello.
Hi, Jody Sue. Nice to see you.
Hey guys.
What's going on? Was that really you in chat? I just wanted to make sure that was you.
Yeah, it was me. I was staying on camera, but I'm currently in bed. I was gonna lay down. My heart's hurting pretty
Hell
bad.
of a day.
So what is going on? So you were in chat. I
Um,
didn't get to catch up. What is going on with you? What
Same chaos, same push as last time. With the whole,
who's that?
shut
Who's
up
that?
because you're talking about the whole con ring thing. And I've pissed off half of YouTube again.
Yeah, they're headed this way. This as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
So chaos is reigning supreme tonight, and it's like a second ago, old salted earth and such. I guess somebody's figured out I'm over here. So now they're like same rinse repeat, you know, showing pictures of the abuser, showing this, showing that, blah blah. Now they're like on the Doug train because this is where I'm at.
I appreciate it. Welcome to the train.
That's right.
Right. Let me ask you: did these people contact you for an interview, or did you talk with them?
Which ones?
Blowhorn Betty, JLR, and
Nope.
Molly, and all them.
Wait. Now I know the Petito quote crackers were in my inbox a couple weeks ago, and I told them to straight the fuck off. They weren't helping Simmer, and they weren't getting information from me at all to create more anarchy.
Yeah.
Use Summer's case for money, and then so I don't know if it's the same people, because they use so many different ones to
He,
contact, message, push, play pretend sources with, the show, song and dance. Typical
Jody
shit.
Sue, I've never met you before. I've seen you on some stuff. My name's Josh. Nice to
I've
meet you.
watched you. I've seen you
Oh,
for
okay.
months.
What's that?
For months now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I've also seen you on stuff, and you
Spit
were
it out.
neighbors with the Wells. Shut up, Doug.
Yeah.
And for how long again?
What?
How long were
Neighbors?
you neighbors? Yeah.
Well, I was familiar with the Ben Hill property for 26 plus years, but we lived there for 10, and Candace and them showed up at some point, but for a while we didn't even like know who it was. Didn't even know Miss
So Don
Cody.
was there before Candace came into the picture. Then
Dawn originally, according to other neighbors, lived there with Pam, down a trailer on the main road, right below the hill, with Pam, the first wife, and the original children that were taken, Don Jr. and all of them, and it was the same cycle.
whoa. Don Jr. is Don Wells, the one we talk about, but you're talking about
His oldest son is a pedophile.
right.
Yeah, the pedo.
So which one's junior and which one's senior?
Sorry. Senior is the one now, right?
Josh. Yeah, the one that we have that we're talking about. So with junior
Summer's
would be
dead.
okay. I just want to make sure.
Junior is the oldest still in Utah that has the SAP charges, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Sorry, I forget.
There's a lot of charges to remember who goes to what.
But yeah, from my understanding from neighbors, Dawn first wife, and when Dawn Jr. and all them were babies, they lived there for a short period near the main road in a trailer, and the same neighbors and everybody else took care of them as well because it was the same pattern of abuse and drug use and etc. And then Dawn and Pam and all them, whatever, went bye-bye. But then that's the thing. I think there was some points in the early 2000s that Dawn was back over there at you know at the 125 Hill and had actually gotten caught hiding there to
Right.
avoid the violation of probation or parole out west and was taken back out west. And if I recall correctly, him and Candace were already together, but
So Don was hiding on 125, not 210 where he lives, on 125 where they owned property. Interesting to know. In the early 2000s.
I didn't see any of that go on. I don't know. But it took us a while to meet. Candace and Dawn, they only showed up after our own peeping Tom incident, which we now feel could be aimed at what my daughter that was the same age as Summer at the
So
time.
he was
Not,
peeping on your daughter and not you?
well, she was co-sleeping at the time when her dad was out of town. And the thing was is that Andy has always maintained that it was Dawn. And they only showed up and introduced themselves after. I mean, immediately after one of the two times of us getting arm's length away from literally from pulling the guy down and catching him. And then they showed up like the next day or something, almost like to see if they've been caught or whatever, you know. And Andy has always maintained that it was Dawn. He even told the FBI and TBI that while this was happening. But we always thought, and I even thought until very recently in the past couple weeks, after learning his sister's ages at the time assault started, putting together a Summer's age, and then my own daughter's age at the time the Peeping Tom incidents were happening, that there's a correlation between the ages of 5 and 6.
Got it.
And then our dogs were also missing in action, lured away, hurt, injured during the Peeping Tom incidents. So, and as you know, and as I've said, the dogs weren't present the day Summer went missing.
So you're the only other person besides Dawn that I've talked to that knew Summer personally. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
What you just heard was her put essay on Summer. I missed it. I didn't see if there's a part coming up where she just said, when they went to Utah, I started to compel. Because she thought Dawn was touching Summer. You're going to hear her talk about how Summer was undressed in the conditions of Summer during this time, with Jody Sue putting tons of SA on Summer during this whole live stream. Well, she sits over there and says that all of the creators are putting SA on Summer and we're awful, awful people. These are some of the worst words Jody Sue has said on this live stream right here.
Yeah, well, but as you tell us a little about her, and great question, Josh. If I could just kind of tiptoe into that, because Don told me on the phone that he used, and I could be completely wrong about you or any other situation, and I'm not saying that this is true or not, but Don told me that Don used to come over to your house. He brought Summer there several times. He's actually gotten drugs from Voldemort or Andy, whatever, over while you were home, whatever he wanted, meth, cocaine, marijuana, pills. They were able to get everything from your driveway. And that he's brought Summer over there before. I thought that's why there would be possibly footprints anywhere, if any. But I'm not saying that they were over there for that
Yeah.
reason either.
I'm gonna show my face. I'm gonna make this real clear.
Now she's going to say, no, they got nothing but weed. She's going to make it real clear. She's off camera. Now she's going to get on camera. Here comes the dramatic. She got to make it really clear it's nothing but weed. They didn't sell anything else. But just mere months after this, she would come on and say Andy was selling things to sedate little girls over at the Wells property. We do know they were busted in the James Light drug bust for lure tabs. That's truth. I could pull their court records. We've been there.
Those two are not the most reliable sources. I will tell you that Andy smokes. I know that Andy was using that same period of the poop and taught him to start real bad behaviors again. I now think for the past couple of years, because of things that were taking place in the last days and hint drops that I now look back on, and I think maybe he was using other things for a couple of years. Andy did have far more contact with them than I did. They were not my type of people. They still are not. However, I will tell you, to my knowledge, not once did they ever get coke, pills, or meth off of him. You know, not once that I'm aware of. And I mean that sincerely. They did terrorize him for his personal. He would get it usually on Fridays. And literally, the only times you seen those assholes stay up past dusk was to terrorize, because they knew that's when he got his personal out of his paycheck. And it was just bullshit. And I'm talking about Green, right? But yeah, it was always something with those two. But Dawn, look, we go out of town, you could hear him. It's how you would know he was going out of town, because the truck or whatever vehicle would leave off the hill after about 10 at night. And that's when you knew he was going to be leaving out for at least a 3-day bender. He would go to Knoxville. He would get his crack. And that's the thing. Everybody keeps associating meth with that hill. Dawn's favorite thing is crack.
I heard it. I heard it was coke or crack.
Crack cocaine.
Yeah.
What did he do? Did he smoke it, shoot it, snort it?
Honestly, I mean, look, I never really asked questions. The way it was phrased to me was smoke.
I don't think you shoot crack. I think you shoot
I don't know.
smoke. And I think I've only heard people ever smoke. I've never tried crack or anything like that, but
I think you can.
I think you smoke crack and you inject coke.
No,
and as far as I know, the only like real pill issues over that, because see, they had two different faces even for Andy and I, right?
What is Candace's drug of choice? Heroin,
alcohol,
meth,
and I always assumed because of how she acted that it would be downers, right? And so it's like whatever he said about pills or something like that. Andy's thing of choice, like if you give that boy any type of downer, he's gonna lose his mind and kill somebody. So there's no way. You get what I'm saying? The correlate, And I'll tell you, Dawn has since day one, minute one, that Summer went missing, has continually tried to sling that at neighbors and then drug traffic that wasn't his own, co-workers, one after the next, after the next, after the next, continually. But he never mentions his own drug dealers, his out-of-town dealings, the pedophiles they've had up on that, pedos, peas, whatever, the essays.
Call them what they are, because guess what? We're not a fan of pedophiles here or pedos.
Well, I know some channels say not to use that language because it can get you all flagged or whatever.
I don't, at this point, I don't care about I get flagged at the beginning of my live stream because as soon as I say my first word, everything gets for bullying and this and that. And they cut off the monetization right away. I'm not worried about the money. I want the story. And a lot of people, and Jody, again, I apologize if I've said anything in the past. This is the first time we've ever talked. When Benny was going off on you, I actually emailed you, or a guy, not emailed you. I went onto Facebook and I messaged you. And I said, if you'd like to tell your story, I have no problem. I'd love to give you a platform to tell us your side, because I was getting a one-sided, and I know how
I
Benny is.
generally will not touch.
What's really crazy is Jody told me how much she loved Josh. She really did like Josh and Doug at the beginning of this, and she kept contact with Doug. I don't know why, considering she was accusing Chris McDonough of stalking her, and they were all on Chris McDonough's side at this time, right? Kind of seems a little strange, don't it? Jody, you're a hypocrite. Like a motherfucker.
Anything that Keys has touched before.
God
Yeah,
bless.
you know, I'm one of those like, well, who's he working with today types. But the thing is like I've watched him from day one, especially Dawn.
No, that's not true, because she was admitting with Benny that she would meet with him with her daughter. And as a matter of fact, let me pull something up here. Let me see if I can find it. Ooh. It was just the other day and I was clipping it. Where did you go? Let me open up a new video here. Uploads, videos. Where'd you go, Jody? You know what? We'll just go to her page. Let me go to history, because I just had it playing. Hold on. I got to figure out what live it was. She had come on. Was it this one? Here's Jody Sue giving Benny all the deets while he was out, not allowed on YouTube. And of course, the conversation starts with me. Why don't you play the rest of this conversation, Jody Sue? And my children harm or swales in another case. Shay ain't real stable. It takes a real crazy bitch to say some shit like that. Crystal ain't real stable.
No, she's not.
And they're working with fucking Andy. And you tell me what kind of fuckstick goes and gets the chick who's threatening to murder your baby mama and burn the camper down. And you mean
that's clearly someone that doesn't give a fuck about what they said about his own daughter.
Yeah, and then to be releasing phone calls of our son doing all their shit, and they're there on his fucking Facebook. Are you kidding me, dude? And two bitches, including Adrian and Jenny, who said that they're gonna annihilate me at all costs in my life and take everything from me, and knowingly lied.
Yeah, I mean, they knowingly lied.
I got proof they did. Hell, even my Adrian's dumbass posted the other proofs it.
I got proof they lied to me and then lied to somebody else about the lie they told me. It just never stopped. Once I saw one lie, I realized that these stupid bitches.
But what the fuck are they in it for, Keith?
I do not know. That's a good. That's the question.
I'm told one wants fame and one was just blackmailed into it, and one whatever. And
I mean, they were, and I feel bad because no one had a power around to get them where they were than me. Because what if they
somebody was
helping them? It was benign.
Do you know who? And my children harm or swales in another case. Shay ain't real stable. It takes a real crazy bitch to say some shit like that. Crystal ain't real stable.
No, she's not.
And they're working with fucking Andy. And you tell me what kind of fuckstick goes and gets the chick who's threatening to murder your baby mama and burn the camper down. And
that's clearly someone that doesn't give a fuck about what they said about his own daughter.
Yeah. And then they'll be releasing phone calls of our son too and all sorts of shit, and they're there on his fucking Facebook. Are you kidding me, dude? And two bitches, including Adrian and Jenny, who said that they're gonna annihilate me at all costs in my life and take everything from me, and knowingly lied.
Yeah. I mean, they knowingly lied.
I got proof of
Jody, I have some things to ask you about. You had some videos in October on your page, but let's talk Melissa Ray. Let's talk about all of your marathon talk. Boy, you was mad. You wanted that money, huh? You've seen millions pass quicker than this. During the marathon, this is what's going on your Facebook. You're interviewing with Chris McDonough, but you're on Facebook talking shit. I hear Scott is now putting my children's name up on his screen. On and on and on. And here's Melissa Ray. They're playing off people's generosity and emotions to virtual signal and get subscribers and super chats and donations. And they act like it's for you. Now they take it back. It's disgusting and illegal what they're doing. Because Jody was pissed off. They didn't give her money, right? Now what I'm looking for is Jody accuses everybody of being involved in this little criminal ring, right? That she claims I'm involved in and all the creators are involved in. I know I have these somewhere. You see, my problem is, where are they, Jody? Guess who was joining those discords with all of these people, Jody? Who was in the discords, Jody? It wasn't me. Was it, Bunny? XOXO. That would have been you in the discords making plans for the marathon. And talking about meeting with Slay. Correct me if I'm wrong. Asking people to get you help from domestic violence while you're living in your parents' trailer. You had a safe space. But you won't touch anything that has to do with Keys while you constantly talk to Keys behind the scenes. Right, Jody?
hell, even my Adrian's dumbass posted the other picture.
I got proof they lied to me and then lied to somebody else about the lie they told me. It just never stopped. Once I saw one lie, I realized that these stupid bitches.
But what the fuck are they in it for, Keith?
I do not know. That's the question.
I'm told one wants fame and one was just blackmailed into it and one whatever. And
I mean, they were, and I feel bad because no one had a power around to get them where they were than me. Because when they started out and I was helping them, it was benign.
Do you know who try to sling that at anybody except their own people, their own possibilities? And I'll tell you, when he first started, if you watch the news articles and things like that, watch the way the language changes with him saying bad neighbor, right? And we know who he's trying to sling bullshit at. But then he changes it to bad neighbors, like this and that and the other. But he was literally meaning the entire neighborhood and all of Beach Creek and everybody but. And all the people he was implying were like literally associated with it. Like, it was like, holy crap, did he just call all the people that have fed their children, people that have gone to church with them? Does he mean the people? I mean, because most of, and people took like that, like the whole road was filled with all these criminals and stuff. And that's not true. I mean, that road is filled with mostly people who have upstanding like jobs, federal jobs, veterans.
Is it true? Is it true
hospital
that if it's is it true that if you're not invited up there, it's dangerous?
It absolutely is.
What are they going to shoot me or shoot someone else? Is that how it is?
Why are you going up there?
Right
No, but I'm just asking.
Right now,
I'm asking.
unfortunately, hands are being
If
tied
they're
by
going to
the
go around shooting
stupidity.
people, that's kind of weird.
That's the thing. Right now, hands are tied, and they have been for a while.
But it seems
Because
like people are making it a more scary place to come than it really is.
nope,
Like,
it really is.
I mean, when
Are
was the
you
last time somebody was shot and killed in your area?
Yeah, Ben Hill and two of the other roads are the most deadly inside of there.
Well, yeah, driving on them, but like, how many deaths
No,
have been recorded?
no.
I'm just asking because I don't know. I mean, is it that extensive that if I were to drive down the wrong street and get lost, I'm gonna get shot up?
Look, until a couple of years ago, unless you lived in there or you were invited in there, you didn't stop in there. You didn't knock on a door in there. You didn't come in there unless it was
That's
to
weird
pass
because
through.
everybody in the country leaves their fucking door open. So unless you have something to hide, then you get that way in the country. So
Well,
apparently
the
there's some
way
shit
Beach
going
Creek
down on
is,
Ben Hill
it's like
Road.
everybody wants to be left alone. But honestly, even until like Beach Creek is its own thing, but it has been opening up, especially because of the new types of dope heads and the heirs that are acting a fool on the new synthetic dopes and the fentanyl and the heroin. It's hitting really bad here. I mean, we are part of the Oxycontin Highway, right?
Notice how she says ears. She can't say the youngings or the young kids or the people that live around, the new people. She has to refer to them as ears. Heirs to what, Jody? All that land you wanted? I was listening to another video of yours today. Hold on. Excuse me, guys. Hold on. Bear with me. It was one before Summer went missing that I want to share with you guys. Here we go. Was this it?
Okay, so I figured I'd give.
Oh, what the hell? Hold on, guys. I'm having.
Okay, so I figured I'd give everybody an update. You know, the whole like four of you. Anyway, so, cause I'm in a fucking mood again. So, just not in the typing mood. Anyway, so apparently, I don't know, shit's just going fucking sideways lately. But all kinds of crazy shit's been happening. Finally had to threaten that bitch's insurance with attorneys in order to get them. Tell them if I didn't hear from them by the last Friday that we're calling an attorney, and that was like 4 in the morning. By 8 o'clock that morning, I had a response and them sending out adjusters and all kinds of other shit. So, or whatever you call it, with anyway. So that's maybe working, and then and that bitch called her twice to tell her fucking insurance she needed to do something before we hired a fucking attorney because they weren't doing what I mean, dude. Just not returning calls, not answering the fucking phone. Insurance people, I don't know, they're trying to get out of it and I ain't playing that fucking game with them. So anyway, they called, and did all that shit as soon as we threatened with fucking attorneys. So then that was at least good news. But then I realized I missed my tattoo appointment, one of the two upcoming, for no reason. I don't know what the fuck's wrong. Probably just all this bullshit property crap. So then,
But Jody, you was so distraught over Summer that. Hold on. Where are we at here? Let me split this and add a page. Let's go to Jody Sue's videos again. Where'd they go? Let's scroll back down to where we found this one, because right above that, we have the night Summer went missing. Is this it?
that's probably bad, but that's what I'm going to say.
No, that ain't it. There's a video of her the night Summer goes missing, right? And in this video, she goes to get that tattoo. So she's so concerned. Hold on, it gotta be around here. About Summer.
So, hey.
Here it is. She'll get on here and beg for Summer, but she wasn't out searching for Summer. She was getting a tattoo.
So, hey everybody. Long time no here, other than bullshit memes and garbage bitching for me. But, it's 2 in the morning. I just got out of tattoo shit, which I had not planned on. I'm not even lying. I woke up at 6 o'clock this evening, 6:30, with Andy losing his shit because apparently my tattoo guy, he's going to jail for a minute, and that's fine. I don't care. We expected this, no big deal. It happens to coincide, and I'm one of those signs are worse signs, even though I'm not about God, the universe, whatever the fuck, but sometimes things just happen. It wasn't unexpected, but it would have been another 90 days. And
Or this was the night before Summer went missing. One or the other. But this was Jody's mind frame. She wasn't sick, as she told us. Does she look sick to you? Actually, I think her voice sounds better then than it does today. More comprehensible.
you know, I've paid over fucking $1,000 for this piece that is still not finished, and it's not supposed to be yet. Eventually, it'll be a whole sleeve and goes down to my back piece and my thigh and leg. Blah blah blah. So anyway, this piece from my grandfather is important though, so I've been working on it in small steps to make sure the color and everything's precise and little tiny minute details and coloring. But I got the call. He got the call today and was like, "Holy shit, you've got to go in." So I went in for, I don't know, I walked down my fucking nightgown, y'all, barfing my ass off because the radiation has not been kind. And that's a whole nother fucking fiasco there, let me tell you. But it's not been kind. And acne again, y'all see this crackhead ass looking meth head shit? It's fucking stupid. And look at this shit, y'all. I'm changing colors again. Y'all see? You probably can't at this time of night. But y'all, my hands and shit are an entirely different color than the rest of my person now. It looks like I ain't taken a bath in 12 years, and they're stained, but that's not the case. It's just the radiation changed colors in my body. And Jennifer, where the fuck are you? Because these people are fucking up my goddamn waffles in Waffle House. I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, this son of a bitch lost his mind, so I went in barfing to get some of my tattoo down until people get out, made 3 or 4 other appointments to start my back piece that goes with it that is not this person's specialty that somebody else is. So we're all trying to deal with 5 or 6 different artists. So anyway, it's been a rough run the past few weeks. I just want to say to Beach Creek, the more locks are kin to him, but I'm hoping today, because the official sale of that piece was on the 7th. You tell them that I hope it eats that fucking bitch alive. Because they got maybe $3,000 of that property, but somebody's got a loan for $487,000 to try to build a $500,000 house on that piece that I hope falls off the goddamn bank. I hope her greed eats her and everybody else. Had she taken my offer, which is way over what the fuck anybody deserved and what that property's worth, because unless ours comes with it, it ain't worth a goddamn fuck. And they can't build on it. I just want to make that clear. And she knew. Here's the thing. I just want to let everybody know, because I'm just at the point where I'm going to start shit and I'll burn the goddamn creek down. They knew what they were selling. Somebody needs to maybe whisper that for the first time in history of Beach Creek, people are tired of out-of-fucking staters and out-of-towners thinking they're going to move the fuck in there and do this bullshit. I've never seen anybody move on top of anybody else that wasn't family inside of the country like this, but here we are. That there are people that have already signed statements saying that she called them months prior to listing, and she was well informed of what she was selling, knew that our springs and our well, which I've already been assured will not be built on top of by the permit guy and the courthouse. So these people, when they show up and the bank's not done their due diligence, and Joey fucking Hahn with Clinch Mountain Realty, and this dumb bitch knew what she was selling and was offered the surveys, which we pulled out of our goddamn closet since they're all family. And let's make no mistake before y'all go whispering in Beach Creek. But Andy and them and everybody else, they're all fucking kinfolk. And that's why that existed in our closet, along with our neighbors who has theirs framed, and we now have ours also in a frame. Knew what she was selling. She didn't get anywhere near the asking price. And if her and Sarah had simply taken our fucking cash offer, including the offer to go ahead, which is, it's like our neighbors told her it ain't even worth fucking $400 an acre. It's not. It ain't shit. But I offered her way more than that cash and to pay the fines and shit for pulling out from the realty place if she just stopped the goddamn sale and took it. I hope she enjoys that $3,000 or $4,000 cash she got. Either way, she's getting ready to be sued by whoever just bought that fucking shit, and I really don't give a good goddamn. That being said, it's been a hell of a week. It is what it is. Was that just Jennifer that walked in there? Did you? Is that Jennifer over there?
I don't know.
I feel like it is.
Looks like it possibly.
I need her to go in there and spank some people.
I possibly need my fucking wallet.
Well, I'll put it right here when we left the tattoo place. But anyway, it's been a really weird fucking week, and I'm just kind of laughing because had she taken our fucking offer cash under the, because here's the thing, they ended up taking, because they were smart people, and she's apparently not, and she ended up taking our fucking, because hers was cash talks, because she knew what was up, and she's trying to fuck taxes too, whatever. I was like, look, I give you what the fuck ever you can do, whatever you want to do. After that, she didn't do that. And they apparently asked her for repairs and costs, right? Because if you know what you're doing in real estate, land sales, or anything else, you know what to ask for after somebody's taking your offer and you're negotiating at the last steps. They've taken off $7,000. Looks like it's sold for $11,000, which is blasphemy, but I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure that if you call the IRS, all that's not reported, and everybody's taxes will look a little funky. So I'm sure there's cash otherwise. But the point is people would have made more had they just taken our fucking shit. And none of this would be happening, and people wouldn't be in danger. And I really don't give a good goddamn. That being said, it doesn't matter how.
None of what would have been happening, Jody. What people were in danger the night before Summer went missing, while you're complaining about Dobbs buying that land after you have confrontation with Dobbs. Your new tattoo's real fucking nice today, ain't it, Jody? You go and quit shit talking, everybody. Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
How long they're there, they're going to eventually fall off the fucking bank, even if they're allowed to build, which I'm sure might be the case, considering Hawkins County's all about trying to break up big tracts of land and displease people, and I don't know, whatever the fuck. But I hope in a little part of me that she really only made $3,000 or $4,000. I bet shit when she could have had fucking shit and more than that. Without anybody being involved, and I hope that greed fucking comes back to bite her in the ass, and I really don't give a good goddamn. Regardless, it's been a hell of a few weeks. The radiation shit sucks. I start full out in the next week or two. I don't think I'm gonna like this. And then I hear, what was it they said?
You know how she tells us all she was going through radiation the day Summer went missing? Did you hear what she just said? Her radiation starts in the next week or two. She was refusing her radiation treatments. She wasn't on no motherfucking radiation at the day Summer went missing. She's full motherfucking shit.
Sunburns, and they'll make sure to give me shit from my throat. Whatever. But I get a cool, keepsake mask, so that's pretty neat. I feel like I go to Disney World for all the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yay, I went to the fucking theme park. Anyway, so, I have a really weird situation going on, and since I know some of you all seem to be, I know a few of y'all work for Ballad, and I know a couple of y'all, there's some shit that's happened that makes me think a couple people on pages want to be little snitching bitches for the people they work for that are fucking them and our community. In particular, in my case, I'm not going to say too much about it, but I will tell you that the other day, I had some weird son of a bitch follow me all the way out to my car, 2 levels below, wait on me. Now, look, this is weird enough to where, if you're female, you know the looks. And I ain't even cute no more. Let me tell you that. You see this hair and the fucking grays? It ain't right, y'all. But I had.
Oh, yeah, this is the person at the hospital that was hired to take her to the parking lot. She's going to tell you the story. You're going to hear that. And then she's going to come out and tell us about the 50,000 tree trimmers that were outside dropping pens so that they can look at her tatas because she was in a sports bra and she thinks she's so fucking hot.
This motherfucker followed me out. It creeped me out. I could tell. Like he was just standing too close. If you're female, you know the looks. You know what the fuck's up. This ain't nice. This ain't I'm trying to be helpful. This is not I'm trying to be a medical professional and do my best. This is fucking weird. Like pervy, gross shit. This motherfucker followed me out to the main lobby. Then I ordered Starbucks and went to the bathroom because I was sicker than shit and I'd been literally tied in the machines for hours. Hours. I go to the bathroom. I come back after I told the lady that I would. I had to use the restroom before I come back and get shit. This dude's still in there because I thought, well, maybe he's taking a break. He'll get down to Starbucks. He'll go on. This dude gives me a fucking tour through Holston Valley like I have never been there before. And granted, my shit's usually up in Johnson City. Something's happened. They're moving some of my stuff in here. But this is the weirdest shit I've ever seen, experienced. I was like, holy shit, is this where we're at, really? So I come back to Starbucks to get my shit after the restroom, guys. And this guy's still there. Has not ordered anything of his own. I walked 2 levels down and all the way out of the parking garage because I'm not technically parked in the parking garages. I'm parked all the way out towards Oncology end. Dude follows me, keeps trying to keep me there, all kinds of weird shit. He has called me on his own fucking time 3 or 4 times. Homie over here has happened to not catch some of the phone calls. Then has emailed me on his own after hours. It's creeping me the fuck out. Which, fine, whatever. My sons are like, Mom, I know you're badass, whatever, okay, but something's wrong here. You don't need to be around this shit right now because you can't maybe defend yourself. And maybe, I don't know, because past few days, y'all, it's been rough. To where my muscles and shit ain't working and shit's going real bad. I'm off my medicine, have been for weeks. It's fucked, and I'm fucked currently, but, nobody's feeling safe with the situation that's going on. That's how uncomfortable it was the other day. And then also have an entire road full of fucking weird road crew the other day that I had 2 goddamn dudes drop their pin on purpose like a chick trying to just get you to stop. You know, like females, we have, and I don't care what anybody says, we have that tendency to be like, whoops, I dropped something. No, it's a 50, 60 thing, you know, whatever, before you can be brazen and out there and be like, hey, why don't you just give me the dick? Why don't you stop and ask me out for a date? Now, you know, we don't really do that too much, but we know the drill, right? These guys pulled that shit on me, dropped pins in my car in a place that I couldn't really get them good, where I had to lean over. The entire car is surrounded, I'm not talking about 5, 10, 15, but like 50 men on both sides of my car. It was very fucking strange. And then every day it's them honking there. Like this morning, me and my daughter were sitting there, and there they were again honking. And I don't know why. You know, they've got the number to call him. So if anything, you know, because there's certain trees that are not to come down. There's been all kinds of shit going on through there. They're running electric companies to run the main lines again to cut the trees down, right? That's what it is around them. But there's other things going there that are 3 companies in one. It's all fucking bizarre. But it's almost like, you know, the helicopters aren't going to cut them down with the chainsaws. These things have been here since his family settled Rogersville. Some of the first settlers in Tennessee were not cutting those fucking trees. And so that was that. But I had 2 drop pins in this fucking car and be weird. And, you know, I'm on me too when I'm all like, hey, I've been raped. I know what it's like. This shit's getting real weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But this shit's like making me sketch. And I'm never sketch, but whatever, right? But it's been a weird few fucking days. But I will tell you, the weirdest shit is over there at fucking Holston Valley. And I just don't know about that guy. He's fucking trying real hard to be super sketch. But we got all that going on. Kid's 19th birthday. And then, you know, yeah, that's hitting. And then I keep smelling fresh babies. Yeah, don't even look at me. You heard me. But fresh babies are fresh babies. And, you know, I mean, irradiated currently. And no more babies for me, but too many surgeries couldn't probably help me anyway, and if something was wrong, I'd smother him with a fucking pillow. But definitely, I don't want to have to go through amniocentesis to see what the fuck's wrong, or risks, or whatever, and then abortions and whatnot time after time. So we're gonna call it a day, be retired. Both my kids will be grown by the time I'm 40, and I'm gonna sail off into the fucking sunset, y'all. Besides, ain't no point in thinking about babies when dying of cancer. But they sure do smell good. Fresh babies. And when I was 8 months old, he still smells fresh. He was cute. But it's been a really fucking weird few weeks. I'm happy with the tattoo. I'm wearing that tonight. Start blending into the rest of my stuff for my pap. And I don't know. It's been a hell of a ride the past few weeks. But at least every day now that I've quit my thyroid medicine is not filled with go kill yourself, go jump off a fucking cliff. So that's good. That's good times. But it happened to coincide with having to be off of it anyway for the beginning of radiation. The only way I got them to pay fucking attention was by stopping my medicine. So I'd say now, nobody's gonna pay attention again when it's time to put me back on it. And I already feel like I'm dying. And like for the first time, even my mom knows when she happened to catch me at a gas station last night. Shit ain't right. Tonight I know I look like I feel pretty good. I do not. If you got me at 6 o'clock today, I would look like death. My face is puffy, if you can see it. It's huge. I have gained 27 pounds in a week and a half and lost 7.5 in 2 days. I know what it was. The other day, Monday. So 27.5 pounds in a week or so, and then lost 7 in 2 days. 7.5. Thyroid meds are no joke. Going off of them is no fucking joke. No die without them. But right now I can't have them because of the radiation. And then I'm not going to start them until they find a fucking solution because I'm not going to stand there every day and go against my personality. And look, I'm one of those, I can take all kinds of chaos, bullshit, drama, whatever the fuck else, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's kind of my thing. But I'm not going to stand there and be thinking, damn, I want to kill myself. That's not me. I don't give a fuck what's happening in my world. I'll be goddamned if I go through this much shit in my whole ass life like most people, because I'm not special. Everybody goes through shit, but I'm not a weak little bitch, and we don't play that game. So, I'll be goddamned. And I mean, look, unless I'm absolutely dying, it's the end, and I want to take myself out so other people don't have to watch me suffering if I'm going to take myself out. So, that's not me, and I'm not going to sit there and think like that because that makes all this shit harder, blah, blah, blah. It's not good for your immune system, and can actually end up lending to killing you. So, your body under that much shit can't handle it. It's just not something that does well. Emotions versus mentality versus, physical shit. It needs to, you can't, be all like, oh, God, and then trying to heal. It doesn't work that way with your immune system. So, that's not me. When it comes time, I'll do what I gotta do, and I'll do what I was taught, which is walk off into the fucking sunset, and that's fine. Right now, I am not gonna think like that, especially because of fucking medicine. So I hope somebody in fucking Ballad has a plan and sits up and pays attention in a few weeks when I can have my fucking medicine again. We'll see how that works out. So I guess it's gonna be rinse repeat for a while. But I guess we'll see where it's at. Something was said the other day. Nobody would really tell me much like the first time about shit had moved into my pelvis area and this and the other. Everything's still in the lymphatic system. I don't know. Pervy guy was just too helpful. I just a little weird, a little strange. Emailing after hours from personal emails. I'm just not even opening those. I don't give a fuck what kind of information's in them that I want and need. But it's been a very strange few weeks. As for tonight, I'm gonna go home. I'm going to try not to sleep on my arm, and we'll get asshole home so he can sleep because I'm tired. And then, yeah, but it's been lots of chaos and anarchy for the past week or two, couple weeks, something like that. I haven't talked to everybody in a while. If anybody out here knows somebody that owns that sawmill shit, I'm trying to find somebody. Um, I've got a couple guys, but I don't know them well. But if it's one of y'all and I know that I can trust you, trust your people, trust your word, that's fine. I'll throw you something for finding somebody. Um, but yeah. Anyway, and last word, that little feral kitty cat I got is the most amazing critter I've ever had as far as feral kitty cats go. The biggest personality I've ever seen. And I assume in the next few days when I feel okay, I'm gonna go try to catch the mother. Which try, I mean, I'm pretty sure she'd walk right on in and hang out, and then get everybody fixed here next week is when Kibby's appointment and Newbie's appointment and whatever is. Try to get them all fixed at one time. I've never had so many female cats at once in my whole life. I'm not a female cat type of person. But that's where we're at. So anyway, yeah, you know, all I'm saying is give feral kitties a chance. They're lovely. Uh, she's fucking amazing. Not one accident in the house, litter box, just the biggest personality I've ever seen. But yeah, otherwise, who knows what I forgot tonight. But I figured I'd give everybody an update. Love you guys much. I will talk to you in a few days, few weeks, few months. Sparse with bullshit memes and opinions in between. Bye, guys. So that sucked. And then a couple hours before Mother's Day, at midnight, my oldest cat decided it was time to go on me. So, and that was one my papa had, I got from my papa's. So, yeah, and past few months, it just seems like a thing with me, a cycle. I've had other animals come from friends. It seems like as soon as they pass, the animals, even though they've been with me for years and since they were babies, they go. And I was dreading it, but I, didn't expect it, and it came out of the blue. So I kept him with me overnight, and then buried him on Mother's Day. So that was nice. And I decided I'm getting smart, so I wasn't going to post about that on Mother's Day. That way, every year I could be reminded of that. And my poor Bruce, God love him, he'd been through me with everything. Been here almost as long as my daughter has. So anyway, but then, woo, so then, and if you notice, I'm a little fucking off, and I look like weird. But I've been refusing to take my fucking medicine for a little over a week now. Everybody's losing their shit about it because they're like, "You're gonna die," and I'm like, But the fucking medicine, y'all, I don't know what the hell has happened since I upped my dose again.
So, as you could see, she was not on radiation when Summer went missing. She was not taking her prescribed medications. And she has lied to the community.
But all it makes you want to do is jump off a fucking cliff. Like, instantly. And before, I'd get a little iffy about the 7-hour mark after taking one with the other doses. And then for about 2 hours, I'd be a little short. That was with the other ones. It wasn't that bad. Okay, from my perspective, it wasn't. And then this newest dose, it would come on about 4 to 5 hours after you took it. And then really set in hard for 4 or 5 more hours. And then by the time it was finished, my heart was going so fast that the pericarditis was just excruciating. All you want to do the entire time was just like fucking off yourself. And I knew that wasn't me and it wasn't right. And I knew it was the medicine doing it to me. But I thought, I'll write it out. It'll adjust, blah, blah, blah. It did not. Wouldn't stop having a fucking period. That shit was for the birds. You want to go over here and get his things?
Yeah, we gotta go home.
No, we gotta go to Arby's.
That's what I meant.
Okay. Anyway, so and then they scheduled my next radiation appointment. I don't even know what the fuck's happening right now. I couldn't tell you. I'm just here for the ride at this point. But not taking the medicine has me all fucked up. At this point, my eyes are starting to swell and kind of puff again. Memory's going. Fucking body's just destroyed, and my heart's hurting because I don't have my medicine. And well, I do have it, but I'm not taking it. So it's taking a beating that way, but the pain is entirely different than when I'm on it. It's got my heart rate, and I'm so suppressed that it's going so fast. All it's doing is rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. And but without it, I'm not able to breathe again, I guess because it's not slowing the cancer shed or doing whatever the fuck it does. So I don't know what we're going to do about that, or if it's sensitivities to just this particular, because I know that these medicines with the dyes can, you start having allergic reactions to certain ones. But this is the only dose of that medicine that has done it to me. But also, I went, down probably to the absolute maximum suppression, and then, maybe a little bit beyond. But there was a point there, and if you know me, you know that I'm not one to be like, oh, I'm gonna go jump off a fucking bridge, the sky's falling. But let me tell you, every second of the fucking day that I was on this latest dose, it didn't matter what the hell was happening, even if nothing was happening. My ass was sitting there thinking like, I just want to go die somewhere. Just let me go fucking die somewhere. I'm sure some of my posts probably, clued a few people in, but there's definitely something fucking wrong with moment medicine. And it, I know it's the medicine when it's happening. I know, so it's not that hard to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that. That's, dumb. But it wasn't even necessarily what was happening, because there's been a lot of shit happening lately, but that's nothing new in my fucking life. So I knew it wasn't right. I knew something was real fucking wrong, but I thought it would pass. It has not passed, and I'm not taking another fucking dose of my thyroid meds until somebody figures something out, because, like hell far. I can't live like that. I can't live like that, but I also can't live off medicine, so there's fucking catch-22 for you from hell. So, anyway, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I just know it sucks either way, with or without it. But honestly, hurting and feeling like I do right now, because the pain changes to an entirely different type of pain. It's like a deeper ache all over everything. But I can tell my kidneys are taking a beating, because, medicine now regulates my whole body. Kidneys, liver, heart, brain, you fucking name it. So I can tell everything's taking a beating without it. Even if it was in days, even though, it takes a while for it to completely go, I can tell. And it changed almost immediately from 24 hours of me not taking it. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm tired, can't do anything off of it, la 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 la. But when you're at a point,
What can I get for you?
just whatever it is, what he was wanting.
Okay, could I get 2 Southern Filet biscuits?
What else?
I'm just like fruit. It's almost stomach can.
That'll be all.
Okay, $7.86.
They're usually 2 for $5. It says Cajun fillets 2 for $5, and they usually do the Southern 2 for $5.
The Cajun's the only one that's on sale.
Who knows? Forget it.
Okay.
Anyway.
This is the one across the street does it all the time, every day.
I know. It's always a difference between here and there. I don't know what the fuck the deal is. I don't know. I thought they were about the same people. Anyway, so, yeah, it's getting a little difficult either way right now, no matter which way I go. But the pain changes, does different shit. Heart rate does different shit. But I tell you, I can tell. Holy shit. Yeah. Anyway, I can tell for a fact that it keeps pounding as hard as it is. That's suppressed and on that dose, and heart surgery is going to be coming quicker than than planned. So I don't know what he'll do about that, and the radiation. I mean, it's just going to fuck it up even more again. Because I know I'm wit's end with bullshit as far as that goes. But at least I'm not going to jump off a cliff with all the bullshit now. Hell, there didn't even have the bullshit before, and I still won't jump off a cliff, even on good days, for no real good reason, just because the medicine says so. Anyway, so yeah, there's that, and then I don't know, this continuing property bullshit. I ain't trying to say too much because, yeah, if you're from where I'm from, we all know whisper game, and bullshit and drama, and eventually, leads to bad shit. So, it'll all happen in due time. But anyway, there's something else, and I don't remember what the fuck it was.
Well, I don't think
And
that you can go to any back road, like any country back road place, and not have somebody wielding a gun saying, "Get the F off my property." I mean, that's pretty common.
But why are you there anyway if there's nothing to be there for? And here's
Who are
the
we
deal.
talking about?
Well, I'm talking about anybody who's going up to Ben Hill for any other reason than living there right now.
I got you.
There's no reason
uh,
to go.
we've had,
Right.
yeah, exactly. But the thing
Right.
is, we've had a constant stream because you got to think. I don't care what Keys Nom said. We lived there till just a few weeks ago, right?
Right.
Like what, middle of September, right? So, the thing is what you had in there were a bunch of YouTube crazies, Facebook crazies, people going real life, and we all kept waiting for, because I mean, no matter who it is, you still have it. All of us are like, great. Now we live beside of a known predator. We know Dawn is one. Plus, news come out of how many they had on that hill visiting and friends with. And then we have potentially, if a stranger did this or whoever did this to Summer, and so we're all waiting to see if that person comes back. But you can't tell that traffic because here's the actual internet interfering in that because we don't know who the cars are coming in. It keeps us from protecting ourselves. Our children had people sneak around the properties at night, but you can't do what you normally do to protect yourself because it could also be like the feds wandering around the woods in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? And you could end up hurting like a cop or somebody else. So, it's
I
been
was
tied in our
always
hands with
been
what's
like,
happening.
if I lived in the country, I'd been like, howdy, you guys need something to drink, something to eat. You know what I mean?
Right. But
That's
that's
not the country you guys live in.
not
But yeah,
anymore.
I mean, as far as Summer up to the house, the only
You got
time
Kenny on your hill.
Summer rarely come up to the house. The only times I can remember her actually being there is maybe the couple times I watched him for Candace and over at my place because most of the time I watched him over at her place.
All four?
And yeah. And
What
then
what were the boys like? As before you get into that, were the boys quiet? Were one of them more rowdy than the other? Was one the leader?
yeah, I mean the oldest is always, kind of the leader, but then you have the second one in line was always, he always probably the happiest, and then you have the youngest boy, and he was happy, but his verbal skills weren't so good when he was real young, and but he are all pretty free willing and wild, and but
Summer
that's not
hyper?
their fault. I would say so
Yeah.
in a way, but they all kind of
Still a
are.
little
They're used to being outside playing, they don't have real parenting behind them, you know what I mean?
She laugh a lot.
Appearance, two individuals have been particularly involved, Jodasue Brown and Chris McDonough. Their actions have significantly impacted the investigation, raising critical questions about the integrity and progress of the case. First, we'll explore Jodasue Brown's public statements and involvement, including her account of hearing a scream the night Summer vanished. Then, we'll delve into Chris McDonough's role, from his early interviews and participation in controversial events to serious accusations against Don Wells. Understanding these dynamics is crucial to comprehending the broader challenges law enforcement faces in this high-profile case. So get comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive deep into the controversial details of the Summer Wells investigation.
The role of misinformation in the Jodasue Brown situation, protecting the integrity of the Summer Wells investigation. All right, let's get real about this. High-profile investigations are intense, and the pressure on law enforcement is sky-high. Everyone wants updates and answers ASAP. But here's the kicker: sometimes the police have to keep things under wraps or even throw out a little misinformation. Sounds shady? Maybe. But there's a method to the madness. Let's dive into why this happens, especially in the case of Jodasue Brown and the Summer Wells investigation. Jodasue Brown's account and its implications. So Jodasue Brown claimed she heard a scream the night Summer Wells vanished. Sounds like a big deal, right? It is. But Jodasue's turned herself into a YouTube star, talking about this case for hours on end, almost every day. And that's where things get messy. Credibility issues. Imagine you're in court. You want your witnesses to be seen as reliable and unbiased. But if Jodasue's out there sharing her story on YouTube nonstop, people might start questioning her motives. Is she after the truth or the views? That's the problem. Her credibility can take a hit when she's constantly in the public eye. Contamination of evidence. Think of this like a crime scene in your favorite detective show. You don't want a bunch of people tramping through it, right? Same goes for witness testimonies. If Jodasue is broadcasting her version of events, it can mess with other witnesses' memories. They might start remembering things that align with what she said, even if that's not what really happened. Operational security. This is about keeping the investigation under wraps so the bad guys don't know what's coming. If Jodasue's scream is a critical clue, the last thing the cops want is for potential suspects to know they're onto them. They might start covering their tracks or worse, go on the run. Managing public perception. Let's face it, the media loves a juicy story. And Jodasue's scream, that's headline gold. But if the media gets too much info, they can spin it in all kinds of ways, which can totally derail the investigation. The cops need to keep a tight lid on things to stay focused and avoid a circus. The challenges of maintaining integrity. Now let's talk about why this all matters so much. Witnesses like Jodasue can make or break a case. But when they become media sensations, it's a whole different ballgame. Public persona versus witness credibility. If Jodasue is more of a YouTube personality than a witness, her testimony might not hold up in court. It's like trying to convince a jury with evidence from a reality TV show, fun to watch, but not always reliable. The impact of public statements. Every time Jodasue talks about the case, it's like she's throwing a pebble into a pond. The ripples spread, and other people's stories start to change. That's not good for getting to the truth. Protecting the witness. There's also the issue of safety. By being so public, Jodasue has put herself in the spotlight, which can attract all kinds of unwanted attention, from trolls to actual threats. That can scare other potential witnesses from coming forward, thinking they'll get the same treatment. The need for confidentiality. When it comes to catching the bad guys, secrecy is key. If suspects know what the cops know, they can dodge the law. By controlling the narrative, law enforcement can keep their edge and catch the culprits. Comparable cases and the importance of controlled information. Let's take a look at some real-life cases where keeping things under wraps was crucial. The JonBenét Ramsey case. Back in 1996, the Boulder police kept the details of the ransom note and other key evidence close to their chest. This was all about keeping the investigation clean and avoiding a media frenzy that could tip off suspects. The Delphi murders. When Liberty German and Abigail Williams were killed, the Indiana State Police kept a lot of details quiet. This helped them stay on track and eventually led to the arrest of a suspect. The Green River killer. During this investigation, the cops kept details about evidence and suspect profiles under wraps. This stopped the killer from changing his behavior and evading capture. Law enforcement strategy and public engagement. Law enforcement has to walk a fine line in these situations. They need the public's help but can't give away too much. It's like playing poker, you don't show your hand until you're ready to win. Managing media relations, the cops need to give enough info to keep the public informed and cooperative without spilling the beans. In the Summer Wells case, that means being super careful about what's said regarding Jodasu's scream. Public cooperation, getting tips from the public can be huge, but if too much info gets out, it can lead to false leads and confusion. The police need to manage this flow of information carefully. Strategic misinformation. Sometimes, the cops have to throw out a little misinformation to keep suspects guessing. This can mean downplaying certain details like Jodasu's scream, so the bad guys don't know how close the cops are. Conclusion: the challenges of maintaining integrity. In the case of Summer Wells, Jodasu Brown's public activities have likely complicated her role as a witness. Her constant presence on social media and the subsequent public debate over her statements have possibly compromised the investigation's integrity. Law enforcement's decision to manage and sometimes withhold details is driven by the need to protect evidence, maintain operational security, and prevent public panic or misinformation. Understanding these nuances helps us appreciate the delicate balance law enforcement must maintain in high-profile cases. While public interest and media scrutiny are inevitable, ensuring the integrity of the investigation remains the foremost priority. By carefully managing information and controlling the narrative, law enforcement can work towards a resolution that truly serves justice for Summer Wells and her family. Recognizing the importance of these strategies in high-profile cases, we can support law enforcement in their efforts to conduct thorough and effective investigations, ultimately leading to justice for the victims and their families. And remember, sometimes it's a mix of serious strategy and a bit of chaos control, because in the world of high-profile investigations, it's not always what it seems. The role of misinformation in the Jodasu Brown situation, protecting the integrity of the Summer Wells investigation. In the high-profile case of Summer Wells, the role of Jodasu Brown and her account of hearing a scream the night Summer disappeared has raised significant questions. Law enforcement's handling of this detail has been a focal point of public and media scrutiny. Understanding why they might downplay or withhold information regarding Jodasu's statement is crucial in appreciating the complexities of maintaining the integrity of an investigation. Transition to Chris McDonough's involvement. While Jodasu Brown's actions and public statements have complicated the investigation, another figure whose involvement has raised concerns is Chris McDonough. McDonough, a retired homicide detective, is known for his work with the Cold Case Foundation and his YouTube channel, The Interview Room. His actions in the Summer Wells case have been scrutinized for potentially jeopardizing the investigation. Chris McDonough's early involvement and public presence. McDonough's early involvement in the Summer Wells case included interviews with key figures such as Candace Wells, Summer's mother, and Hunter, a 15-year-old who was with Summer on the day she disappeared. These interviews took place before law enforcement had the chance to conduct their own detailed investigations. By stepping in early and making these interviews public, McDonough may have influenced witness testimonies and public perception, complicating the investigative process. By interviewing key figures so early and making these interviews public, McDonough may have unintentionally influenced the narratives of other witnesses. This can lead to memory contamination, where witnesses might subconsciously align their memories with the information they have seen or heard in public forums. Such early and public interference can significantly complicate the collection of unbiased and accurate testimonies, which are critical in the initial stages of an investigation. Allegations of stalking and private discords. There are serious allegations against McDonough, including claims that he has stalked individuals linked to the case at doctor's appointments and participated in private Discord groups. Screenshots have been provided by various sources to support these claims. Such actions, if true, could severely impact the integrity of the investigation. Engaging in activities that could be seen as witness tampering or intimidation is a significant concern. The allegations of stalking and participation in private Discord groups add another layer of complexity. If McDonough is indeed involved in such activities, it raises serious ethical concerns about his methods and intentions. Stalking, even if intended to gather information, can be perceived as harassment and can intimidate potential witnesses, making them less likely to cooperate with law enforcement. This not only hampers the investigation but also creates an environment of fear and mistrust. The Scamathon event. McDonough participated in a controversial event known as the Scamathon, a live gathering of creators that lasted 10 days and collected money under questionable pretenses. This event led to lawsuits and litigation, further complicating McDonough's involvement and raising ethical concerns about his actions and motivations. The Scamathon event, which gathered funds purportedly for the Summer Wells Reward Fund, has been criticized for its lack of transparency and the involvement of various creators with dubious intentions. The lawsuits that followed highlighted the chaotic nature of this event and brought into question the motives behind it. McDonough's participation in this event blurs the line between professional investigation and sensationalism, raising concerns about his commitment to maintaining the integrity of the case. The impact of public analysis and accusations. McDonough's detailed and public analysis of the Summer Wells case on his YouTube channel has the potential to contaminate witness testimonies and influence public opinion. By discussing specific details and theories, he may unintentionally lead other witnesses to alter their own memories or statements to align with what they've seen online. This phenomenon, known as memory contamination, can significantly hinder the pursuit of accurate and reliable evidence. Additionally, McDonough has gone on podcasts with individuals who are critical of the Wells family, such as Josh at the Lab, and has had public confrontations with Don Wells during live sessions. McDonough has accused Don Wells of molesting his stepsisters and friends, bringing these accusations live on YouTube. While these accusations are serious and the victims deserve support and justice, bringing them into the public sphere in this manner has only fueled chaos and speculation around Summer's case on social media platforms. Accusations against Don Wells and their impact. One of the most significant actions taken by McDonough was pushing the authorities in Utah to open a case against Don Wells based on allegations of molestation made by his stepsisters. This move added another layer of complexity to an already convoluted investigation. Its impact on witnesses and evidence. By publicly pushing these allegations, McDonough has influenced the testimonies of witnesses who may now be swayed by the media coverage rather than their own recollections. This could lead to inconsistencies and contradictions in statements, making it harder for law enforcement to piece together the truth. Legal and ethical concerns. Taking serious allegations to the public before law enforcement has had a chance to investigate thoroughly raises significant ethical concerns. This can lead to a trial by media, where public opinion starts to sway the course of justice. Such actions can also complicate the legal proceedings, as defense attorneys might argue that their clients cannot get a fair trial due to the extensive pretrial publicity. Confusion and distraction. Opening another investigation in Utah has led to confusion and distraction from the primary case of Summer Wells. Resources that could be focused on finding Summer and investigating her disappearance are now divided. This additional layer of legal action can slow down the progress and lead to further public speculation and misinformation. Ethical considerations. As a former law enforcement officer, McDonough should be well aware of the importance of maintaining the confidentiality and integrity of an ongoing investigation. His decision to publicly involve himself in the case and share detailed analyses raises ethical questions. While his intentions may be to help solve the case, his actions could inadvertently undermine the investigation, making it harder for law enforcement to do their job effectively. Balancing expertise with discretion. McDonough's extensive experience and expertise in homicide investigations are valuable, but they must be balanced with the need for discretion. Publicly discussing an active investigation can lead to unintended consequences, such as alerting potential suspects or influencing other witnesses. Law enforcement agencies often withhold specific details to prevent such issues and maintain an advantage over those they are investigating. Conclusion. Chris McDonough's involvement in the Summer Wells case highlights the challenges that come with balancing public interest and investigative integrity. While his expertise can provide valuable insights, his public presence and early involvement in the case have the potential to complicate the investigation. As an ex-police officer, he should understand the importance of protecting the integrity of the case and exercising caution in his public engagements. In conclusion, McDonough's actions, ranging from early and public interviews to participation in controversial events and making serious accusations on public platforms, demonstrate a pattern that may have more harmful effects than beneficial. While public engagement and expert analysis are important, they should never come at the cost of compromising an active investigation. The focus should always remain on finding Summer Wells and ensuring that justice is served, without creating additional hurdles for law enforcement.
Understanding the roles of Jodasue Brown and Chris McDonough in the Summer Wells case is crucial for grasping the broader challenges law enforcement faces. Their actions have brought both attention and controversy, highlighting the delicate balance between public involvement and investigative integrity. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, share, and comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated. Thank you all for watching and listening. Stay tuned for more content from Crystal's Crime Conversations.
Honestly, the thing is, it's like, and I even asked the news not to really touch on it because a lot of my main memories and things of Summer are not really all that happy, right? It's of her at like the door and her being nude out in the yard in such a strange way, and a lot of noise, like she's crying or whatever. But I mean, there were many times I saw her; she was calm, a little shy, reserved, but also fiery. Like if she wanted something, she was going to tell you about it. She was not joking. Um, and she was kind of like her own little boss. Dawn was definitely her person. Um, and depending on who she was around, she was really shy, or if she knew you, she would, you know, talk to you, and do whatever. But she wasn't unhappy, like,
What kind
um,
of feeling? What kind of feeling did you have when you just initially, like, what did it feel like? You were just punched in the stomach when they said Summer went missing? Like, what was your initial reaction? Like, oh, she's going to be found really fast. Like, what, can you tell me what the very first thing you thought was?
when I heard more than 3 calls for her, I knew something was wrong. But I gave it, I don't know how many calls. By the time I reached on the driveway, it was quite a few at that point. But my gut had already dropped, and my mind already started putting that noise we'd heard together with and thinking the worst. And so I started looking in kind of a way like, well, we'll find her here in just a second. I'll see her down here, and she'll answer. And then I was hollering up, trying to let Candace know that I was looking at the bottom, but she couldn't hear me. And so I thought, well, this is wasted effort. And then I knew stuff was getting more serious. Summer should have already answered. And then as Candace screams at the oldest, but you can tell all 3 are standing there. And she screams, "What did you do? What did you do?" And the oldest answers, "Nothing, Mama, nothing, Mama, I swear."
And you were
My
that you
stomach
saw that.
dropped, and I knew it was absolutely serious. And that mom thing comes holding the frantic becomes the pace.
Wow. And so you saw that. You saw her say that to the boys and heard it.
I was at the bottom of the hill. I didn't see it, but I could
You could
hear
hear
it.
them
And
yelling. Okay.
placement, I knew all 3 boys were right in front of her because
Right.
of the
Who
footsteps.
cares about
So I knew
Dawn
they
and
had met
Candace?
back up at the same place.
Who cares about Don and Candace so much in that community that they're actually bringing them food, money, this and that, because they're getting funded by somewhere?
Well, at first it was the community, just concerned people as a whole that thought maybe, I guess, parents didn't do it. Church stuff. It's kind of what the South does. I think some extras and leftovers from like the command post were coming, but at first it was mostly stuff sent for the boys, like clothes, toys, things like that. And the cops would bring it up because nobody else was really allowed there. We were allowed up there because we were neighbors and stuff, and so we would take casseroles and stuff from the other neighbors that didn't want to go up there, things like that. But it was mostly stuff for the kids that were being sent up there, taken, and for the dogs and animals at first. Now the money, I don't know, that started pouring in from everywhere. It seemed like rather
Were you-
quickly, and then
they-
it definitely starting online very early on.
Were they selling dogs, or were you dropping off dogs and they were selling them, or what was going on?
I
with
wasn't
dogs?
dropping it off. My favorite dog kept being kind of stuck over there for some reason, and wasn't like him. And then because he looks like a husky, and when the pups are first born, they look like so. I was told that some were trying to be sold off as. And then, I mean, they're notorious for dumping dogs and things like that. And the other neighbors had threatened to call the police on them if they ever saw that happen again. And they took some of them, got them fixed, and now are the owners of. And after that, it kind of slowed down a little bit. Now that Summer's gone missing, they've kind of been forced to where they've kept these longer than any others. So
Some are alive or dead to you.
I hope she's alive.
What do you feel?
I mean, we all know statistics. In one way, I hope like hell she's not chained in somebody's damn basement somewhere for years.
Who do you
Another
think
way, I hope she's like me and she's found, because there are so many that are found. But I'll tell you that if she's alive and she's found, she needs to go somewhere that has the skill set to help her through whatever's happened to her. And
There's
that's
not
not,
there's not a lot of places like that, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
she would
well,
need
it's damn sure not
would
that
need-
road either, though.
she would need more. She would need all the help in the world to
Absolutely.
and yeah.
So
And
did you,
I mean,
did
like,
you ever see
yeah,
Don coming home? Did you see Don coming home the day of the phone call? Like you came up when you saw the ruckus going on and people cops showing up, you actually went over there, right? Towards the Wells property or to the Wells property. Did you
I
actually
was
see
already
Don
going
come home or
down.
leave or anything like that?
I saw him come home the evening Summer went missing.
Seriously?
I'm the neighbor in that one video that he pointed to. I'm the other neighbor. He took the bank. I took the creek. Um, and where Dawn shows on the one video from a while back, and he points and he says the boys were over here and the neighbor was over here. That's where I was when I saw, because him and Andy came in almost the same time.
You
And
were
I
with
could tell
you were with Andy the time that
No.
that Summer went missing. So who were
No.
you with? Were you home alone when you came down and you experienced that? Who was there anybody else that was with you?
the kids were at the house. I was coming down the honestly, the thing is, it's like, and I even asked the news not to really touch on it because a lot of my main memories and things of Summer are not really all that happy, right? It's of her at like the door and her being nude out in the yard in such a strange way and a lot of noise, like, she's crying or whatever. But I mean, there were many times I saw her, she was calm, a little shy, reserved, but also fiery. Like if she wanted something, she was going to tell you about it. She was not joking. Um, and she was kind of like her own little boss. Dawn was definitely her person. Um, and depending on who she was around, she was really shy, or if she knew you, she would, you know, talk to you, and do whatever. But she wasn't unhappy, like,
What kind
um,
of feeling? What kind of feeling did you have when you just initially like? What did it feel like? You were just punched in the stomach when they said Summer went missing? Like, what was your initial reaction? Like, oh, she's going to be found really fast. Like, what can you tell me what the very first thing you thought was?
when I heard more than 3 calls for her, I knew something was wrong. But I gave it. I don't know how many calls. By the time I reached on the driveway, it was quite a few at that point. But my gut had already dropped, and my mind already started putting that noise we'd heard together with and thinking the worst. And so I started looking, in kind of a way like, well, we'll find her here in just a second. I'll see her down here, and she'll answer. And then I was hollering up, trying to let Candace know that I was looking at the bottom, but she couldn't hear me. And so I thought, well, this is wasted effort. And then I knew stuff was getting more serious. Summer should have already answered. And then as Candace screams at the oldest, but you can tell all 3 are standing there. And she screams, "What did you do? What did you do?" And the oldest answers, "Nothing, Mama, nothing, Mama, I swear."
And you were
My
that you
stomach
saw that.
dropped, and I knew it was absolutely serious. And that mom thing comes holding the frantic becomes the pace.
Wow. And so you saw that. You saw her say that to the boys and heard it.
I was at the bottom of the hill. I didn't see it, but I could
You could
hear.
hear
And
them
the
yelling. Okay.
placement-
What is the actual time frame that you got to the in front of that driveway? Was the sun going down? Because at 8:43,
It was 6:09.
8:43 Eastern
Like
time.
I've said 6:08, but see, there will go, and I've got it locked down right now. Somebody was kind of put watermarks on everything for me, so I was finally going to release my messages here shortly between Andy and I, proving my timeline. And I tell him that I'm chatting with kids at 4:52. That's when I came back in after the scream, and that's why we put the scream at somewhere between 4:30 4:42 because we were out there for a few minutes. When I got back into the cabin is when I messaged him with chatting with the kids.
So 4:42 to 4:43, you heard it scream.
4:30 to 4:42, but I messaged Andy back at 4:52. And I estimated it somewhere between 4:30 4:42 because we were out in the bank looking to see what the noise could have been, the scream could have been, all that. So the scream happened somewhere between 4:30 4:42. I messaged Andy back when we got back inside at 4:52. Then, as I was going down the driveway, and Candace was yelling, the last message that I sent Andy before I lost Wi-Fi signal, when I could already hear Candace yelling for Summer, I thought it was at 6:08, but it's at 6:09. And then I was down the driveway within a minute or two of that. And because it doesn't take long to walk down. And then I dropped my purse on the left side and I kind of put it down on the ground. So one of my flower planters. And I started looking over the left side and over the embankment over there on their side where you can see the yellow trash can at in Molly Golightly's video with Keith trying to beat her with a piece of wood bigger than he is. But also that's small ass woods. I really thought he'd be bigger in person.
I would have actually put one toe over the line and had him come over the line and whoop his ass just for the whooping of his ass and take the 3 days to jail.
I got a question really quick, Jody. So when they were yelling, when Candace was yelling at the boys saying, "What did you do?" Well, what do you think she meant? Do you think that she meant you lost her? Did you think she meant did you hurt her? What do you think that she meant by that? And And how were the boys reacting? Because one of the theories, but we've heard before that she wandered off. They were playing hide and go seek. And they weren't playing hide and go seek?
I'm gonna be real honest with you here. All day long after 3, the woodcutter shut down every day at 3 or a little before. And that day, I know that their timeline says that they came back at 3:30,
Yes.
and it was absolutely still quiet in there all day except for the noises we heard. I didn't hear the kids playing. I didn't hear doors shutting. I didn't hear laughter. I didn't hear crying.
What
I
time
didn't
was
hear
this?
people-
What time was this that you're talking about right now? If you could give us a time frame of that day.
Before she went missing, right?
Right.
I mean-
like what time frame? Like hour wise? If it was 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock?
I mean, like from the messages I'll release here in a little bit, you can tell I was out there on and off, especially after 2, because at 2 something I had taken a small nap, maybe 30, 45 minutes. I just had radiation done again, and I couldn't ever sleep long anyway. And I was super hypervigilant because Dobbs had been there the day before. And most days I didn't get but like 30, 45 minutes sleep. And the only time I could ever really sleep is when Andy was gone from the property and at work anyway. But I had taken like a 30-minute nap or so, and a noise woke me up. And I was awake after that continually. And we were out on that bank quite a few times because of the different noises that were taking place, like the scream.
So the noises
car
from
door.
2 o'clock nap takes us to 2:30 when you wake up and you hear the noises. So you go out at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that's when you hear the noises, right?
I don't know what noise exactly woke me up at. I think it says on there it's 2:42. I can't remember. I'm sure I told law enforcement at the time because it was fresh. And I'd have to look back at my statement because I have a copy of it. But because maybe I told them, I don't recollect now what noise that was at 2. I think it's 2:40 something. Maybe I don't know. You'll see here in a little bit when I release the messages. But something woke me up then, and that's when my son and daughter come back in and we were talking and this and the other. But throughout the day we were out on the banks and walking the stuff, trying to figure out the different noises that were happening. And not once, and the doors of the cabin were open, so were the windows. So even if we hadn't been outside the bank, I would have heard the kids playing, laughing. I would have heard doors, and never heard any of that. It was just still quiet over there all day.
Were you sure the boys were home alone 100%?
I don't know. I heard after the fact that they had been left there alone, and then obviously it didn't take long for Candace's videos to get out to where Summer was the only one with her. So my assumption is they were there alone, but they were inside.
But we don't know if that could have been somebody else there though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Candace would bring random dudes up the hill, I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was always
random men home.
It's always been like you never know what car's parked at the bottom. You never know who's visiting. And that's the thing. It's like, especially when Dawn was at work, there was always kind of, but then a lot of times Candace would be gone too, doing whatever free activities she could find with the kids and such. So
was she a good mother? Was she a good mother when you saw her?
Or? In front of me, she had a different persona than say like they did. They had entirely different personalities, even between Andy and I. And she would try to pretend like, but see, Candace would message me if one of the kids were hurt or for parenting advice or whatever, And I'm like, damn, girl, like you've had 6 or 8. And honestly, until this, she'd made it like she'd had 4 herself taken away already. Until this, I didn't realize she'd lied to me about that too. She'd only had 2 and he'd had whatever. I'm like, damn, so she made all these years like she had more than she had taken. Like, who the hell boasts? What the? Okay, girl. But I'm like, shit, you've had more than I've had. How do you not know how to, do a wound or what medicine was, but I helped, and did whatever. But, she would message me if one of the kids was sick or what snake was whatever. And I'd be like, look, that's a good one. Don't kill that one. Don't do this. Or if it's copperhead, give me a minute. I'll be over. I'll grab it. I'll relocate it, And things like that, animals identifying. But mostly she never messaged me unless she needed something with the kids or if she needed to ride out because Dawn would be there and she was finally leaving or she was going somewhere safe for her and the kids. And I would take her wherever and then vice versa, throughout the years. And like say something as simple as like, well, one of us forgot toilet paper and do you have a roll so I don't have to drive my ass an hour plus back and forth between the stores to go get a roll. But
I mean, that'd be a shitty situation.
It really is.
Yeah, it'd be a fecal matter.
Or when like Andy would take off for days, weeks, months at a time, or when Dawn would do the same to her, it was like, hey, can you grab me groceries? Can you take me here? Can you, depending on what kind of mood they're in to beat and take off and do whatever, right?
When Dawn left town, did Candace have other guys over that you knew of?
No, I kind of stayed out of her business as far as that goes. Most of the time, all you see them are like Candace. Like you hear teenagers over there an awful lot, but and she obviously supplied them with crap. But those parents were well aware of that. Let me tell you, and and they were mostly used as babysitting services to keep the other kids occupied.
How many times did you see Hunter over there?
Honestly, I've seen Hunter come and go in passing, but I've never really talked to the kid a lot. Just like Allie,
How many times have you
Andy,
seen him over at the house, over at the Ben Hill Roadhouse?
I've heard him over there more than, you know what I mean? Like, you
So
know what I'm saying?
you didn't physically see him. You
I've
actually heard
seen
him.
him over there, but not enough to really have interaction with, to be like, hi, how are you? Or to be in the car and passing or leaving and coming and going as we're both entering and exiting properties and driveways and be like, hi, how are you? Same with Allie. I never had much interaction with her. Andy had far more. Um, and Allie comes to his workplace quite often. And we noticed in the weeks, or he did, he was the one that brought it up. And it was after Allie had like almost chased us down on Stone Drive at a certain point near a show with a Duncan. I was like, who the hell is that? And he was like, that's, you know, he called her something because look wise. And I was like, I don't know, something about a bulldog or something. I don't know. And I was like, I don't know who the hell it is. And he was like, you know, and I finally put it together, but she literally rode beside us at like 60 talking shit about Candace. And I was like, what's that about? And he's like, I don't know. She's been stopping and working an awful lot lately and having, you know, whatever done. And he was like, she's always talking shit about Candace suddenly. Like, I don't know what the hell's going with them two or why she thinks I care. And we noticed that in the weeks leading up, you know, he did, and he kept mentioning it. Most time he didn't mention anything like that, but it must have been happening so frequently that he thought it worth bringing up to me and talking about. And
How is Jody Sue? I know you're dealing with cancer and you're dealing with treatments. How is
we
Jody
were,
Sue?
and we kind of stopped the radiation, and we decided to wait because it's I'm going to need it for the other ones. And usually, I mean, I have other things going on, and I have the night when we were still in a hotel on our own, that first weekend that we didn't know what part of the discard / run cycle we were in with Andy. We were in a hotel ourselves, and I got news that my other chains had come through, and my surgeon thinks that my multiple myeloma has kicked in, especially since right now I should be gaining astronomical weight, not losing, and I'm losing weight drastically. But I should be gaining because I'm not on thyroid meds and haven't been in 6 months plus, and I have no thyroid. So, like any moment, I'm at risk of death, like heart attacks, strokes, extreme a coma. It's called my Alexa coma.
Is any of this YouTube stuff making it worse?
Nah, you know, I was kind of built for chaos. I operate best in, but I'm pretty pissed off at how it's treated my kids and further terrorized them, because that was part of my reason in stepping out doing those first 16 videos. It's because we were already being outed anyway. And Facebook, at least, was kind enough to put my kids back in the box and leave them hell alone upon request. YouTube, not so much. It's been weaponized and used against me, my son, targeting, especially as I outed that first fundraiser. And destroyed and annihilated that phone call with Chase like I was a psychic and had talked about it on my lives 3 days prior to that leaked phone call with that bullshit fairy tale that was meant to drive traffic to the second marathon starting overseas and Summer's name to raise money with. So I shit on that one too. And then, so then it started being full out targeting and weaponization, and even that Hill targeting my children again by pulling Summer's real TBI and agents off her case to target and terrorize us with absolute bullshit lies and calls, and like the hoax done about Summer's remains the other day, and all kinds of things. It was definitely Candace and Keys and several others involved in that. And then the dog stuff that was happening, us being stalked in person that even the news crews witnessed, and us being tailgated and filmed. And I mean, you just have no idea what we've been through here. And you know, but at this point, you know, it is what it is. But and I think
I just want you to focus on your health, and that's the number one too. I appreciate all of this and answers and things coming on, and we have more questions, and I'd love you to stay up, but I want to make sure that number one, you're okay, because again, I don't want to be that person who takes somebody into a sickness problem or overly sick. I know it's emotional.
My little one, even though I'm in bed, my little one's having a rough night, and she's gonna have that surgery, and I'm stressed out about her having, you know, one of the more major attacks until that's done, and if somebody's not awake around the clock, you know, because I straight up about died from my gallbladder when I was younger than she was. And honestly, it's probably the only good thing Andy ever did. He left because I was sick, because he can't handle it when people are sick. And that's where most of the abuse will take place and has. But I mean, he just enjoyed it, but also couldn't stand it. But something made him turn around that morning, because he left because I was getting so sick. And then as my gallbladder went fully out, something made him turn around, but I was dead. But he cleared my throat and air passageways and stuff, and then like woke my family up. So it's probably the only good thing that guy ever did. But so I'm afraid of that happening to her right now until this surgery's done. And so one of us is up around the clock right now.
Jody, so earlier that you said, and I pray for your kid and the surgery goes well. I really hope all that works out just fine, and I'm sure it will. When you were talking about the boys being home alone, and I asked, you know, could there have been somebody there? And you know, yes, there could have been. If there was a stranger hanging out though around, how much would that stranger stick out to you guys?
As long as they stayed on top of that hill, you might not know it.
So there were people up on that hill that you didn't know that had been up there for some time. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like you would hear voices and stuff, but like you never knew if because it wouldn't be like it was a 24-hour. And you couldn't tell if the voice was there for just a little while or if it'd pop up off and on, so you can't really discern if somebody's staying there or not by that. But there would be because like I said, I didn't visit over there often. Andy was the one that visited whatever and had more contact with them. Especially high and bite mailboxes, whatever. Seeing him out in town more because I was kind of trapped there, right? And I didn't leave the hill often, and so he saw everybody more often. But there'd be times you wouldn't have contact with them or anything for weeks or months. At least I wouldn't.
Right.
And then they'd pop back up for me, or she'd need something, or one of the kids would be hurt. But with Andy, he'd be like, "Hell, I just went over there, and there's some guy or a guy and a girl that apparently been living there for X amount." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And you'd hear people, but there's always so many people coming and going. You never know. You know what I mean? If they're actually living there, or if it's an overnight thing.
In and out of that house is what you're saying.
Sometimes, but then when Grandis was around, it seemed like it calmed down with the traffic, and it also seemed like the kids behaved better. And honestly, in the 2 years leading up to this, the kids were better behaved than I'd seen them ever. And I thought things were coming down and honestly getting a little better over there in a way. And then during the cycles, like after the domestic violence call and the Jose thing, right? Grandis took off for a little while because they always said it was her that he called Blow and Dawn that night. And Dawn's told me that himself, and fuck that bitch this. They do not get along. And he was pissed at her. So she took off for a little while. And during that period, you notice a change. Like things go hell again. The teenagers are back. Partying's going on. The kids are acting more wild. You notice different things. So when she's not there, it seems a little less controlled.
Yeah.
Who lives on 209 Ben Hill Road?
I don't know him by address.
Okay, somebody asked in the chat. I don't know. I didn't know if that was relevant. Somebody just asked in the chat.
I can look it up on the property things and I can say, but I'll tell you, most of the neighbors will be left alone. And I know MGL and them are just outing everybody, including people who have public posts up, be left alone and not identified. And here they go, identifying them and outing them, doxing them basically just by location, and then outing what types of security and home security they have. And I find that
if they go back to Tennessee, all those people, do you think they're in danger because nobody's really happy with them at this point?
No, but that whole thing about going out here and protesting in front of the TBI, FBI, the audacity. What the hell is that? These guys have worked their asses off, and if I have any faith in anybody, it's the feds. I promise you that. I promise you that.
I have a lot of faith in TBI, the FBI, and Hawkins County because TBI is not the only one involved. Also, they have, their branch of the FBI as well, and they have other agencies working on this as well because, again, it connects the pieces in different states, different pieces of the puzzle. I still don't think she was taken. I think that something happened in between the swim hole to the homestead or vice versa at one of those places.
I wish I knew, and one day, because any theory I put out there can also lead to things I'm still trying to hold back because, believe it or not, I do kind of give a crap. And I think some things are important, and I think in some ways I've probably definitely already said too much. But the thing is, and I was never specifically told I couldn't say things, but common sense tells you there are certain pieces that are probably important. And
could you have seen them come home at any time of day? Because the timeline says that they were gone for a big chunk of time until they finally came home to start to plant flowers.
And so that's the thing, I'm pretty sure I heard them leave out that morning. And then, but as far as coming in, I would have heard it.
Happy birthday, Twister. Today's a sad day for me. Today's the day my boy's father, my first husband, took his life. In 2009, so I promised myself today that I would share with you guys 988 for suicide and crisis lifeline. You could call, text, or chat the 988 suicide and crisis lifeline. Hours are available 24/7 and the cost is free. Or you could text home to 741-741 to reach a trained crisis counselor through Crisis Text Line, a global non-for-profit organization, and that's also free 24/7 and confidential. I wanted to make sure I shared that today. It's important that I do. Oh, thank you, Kylie. Okay. Back to Doug. Let me see where we're at.
I'm not protecting anyone. I'm not trying to. I don't care if it is them. I want whoever, no matter who that is, found, and I want them punished. And if it's worst case scenario at some point, I want to see the death penalty.
What did Andy think about Dawn after he heard the SA incidents come out with Mary Jeannie and the others?
I actually have the messages where I found that online when she first came out, and it was in text form. It hadn't been verbally. Nobody really done an interview with her yet. And I messaged him because, like I said, we've been looking for, right, proof that Dawn was whatever. And so when that came out, I sent it to him, and I've probably got the messages of his thoughts on that. But it was along the lines of we knew it, and we knew from the first thing she said, where it was in text form and shared online. She knew enough about Utah that we knew about Utah, that we knew she was real, and did not discount her one bit. Nor have I ever. And here's the thing: just a couple weeks ago, as we were already moving, we already had the order of protection in place against Andy. Dawn took me out to the grocery store and stuff because it had rained really hard, and I knew that coming back.
There it was. She was investigating Dawn back in October and already knew about his sisters and was correlating it. She's also the one that said Dawn came out behind Summer naked with nothing but a towel on. Jody, you are the very first person that made people look at SA at Summer. So for you to sit there and say, I'm so sick of people putting SA on Summer is grotesque because you're the one that started the rumors. Please understand that.
Off the hills, more dangerous, and I was probably going to wreck and die. So I gave them money and bought them dinner to take me to Pal's and to the grocery store real quick. And he was really, whatever date that was the day he did an interview about the wreck in the truck. I'd heard that he posted pictures of, and so did I. But I heard that. I come down the hill. It was like, I don't know, 3, 4 in the morning, and I couldn't make it. My body was just doing so bad at that point. I was like, man, I'm going to end up here in the driveway dead if I don't turn around. It's just so and so working on the car. No, woke up and there they still were. It turns out it was idiots who'd wrecked and got stuck and wandered around bleeding and whatever. But that's how Don knew they'd been there all night, because I told him so. But he had done an interview on YouTube with somebody, and it was the first one, and he was more interested in watching that stupid interview the entire time he was driving and waiting for it to come on and seeing his own voice and face than he was driving. And I mean, I was like, holy shit, dude, please just watch the wheel. But just kind of distracted. Like, he turned to me at one point and was like, oh yeah, that really happened. Like, I didn't even bring it up. He did. But he admitted to me that he did that to them. And I had no problems with it. And almost as an afterthought, like 5 or 10 minutes later, he kind of turns down the volume on the car that's playing the YouTube video. As we're in the grocery store parking lot, he's like, oh yeah, but they brought it on themselves, straight with my dad. And okay. And right back to the interview went. And I was like, and I remember that there were a part to where they didn't hear him well because the signal in Beach Creek and the internet had cut out. And he couldn't hear them well when they asked him a question about the red truck, and he cut out. And so they didn't understand either that he wasn't implying that was a different red truck. They thought he was implying that it was the red truck. And I was like, Don, did you not just catch that? I was like, you were over talking to them, signal had dropped there, and they took it like you meant the red truck. And he was like, no, I didn't catch that. Did I? Did they? I was like, yeah, dude. So now I think that's the red truck. And he's like, oh, dang. But still didn't care. Like, what? He was just enamored that he was on there and, attention. But he admitted to me himself he done it to him. So
wow,
it ain't like I'm just like, oh well, I believe any other survivor. I mean, but I knew, But I remember messaging that to Andy, sending her text in the text form when she first came out, and sending it to Andy, and it was basically aha. Unfortunately, it was after Summer was already gone.
it truly is heartbreaking, Jody Sue.
100%.
About Summer.
But I'm glad that he's maybe finally going to be held accountable for that.
I would hope. There's a lot of bad things that are going on that road.
Oh, well, it seems to be centered around like they call everybody else bad neighbors, and they don't mean just that road. Don wants anybody. It's like he also kept saying the people that wouldn't open up properties and they needed warrants for. Look, Lawson himself, if you look back at the few conferences that were done, he even openly stated no warrants were needed. And as far as I know, the only warrants that were needed were to go back into their house while they were at church at one point. Everybody, and it was unprecedented, everybody in that community, which is a very closed, quiet, not cop-friendly neighborhood, opened their doors freely, happily, no matter what kind of shenanigans they were up to on the side, to let the feds and cops in. Because that is Beach Creek's first missing child, and that is something you don't screw with there anyway.
Are you afraid to talk to the cops at all?
So, absolutely. I mean, this is a missing child.
Would you be willing to talk to Roy PD? I believe that's the Utah Police Department or whatever. Roy PD, would you be willing to talk and say what the admission of what he's done? I mean, that's something important.
I mean, if they want me to, that's fine. But I mean, cops at this point probably aren't going to take me too serious considering I'm on YouTube. But I mean, that's the thing. Like,
Well, I don't know. That's a pretty serious statement what you just said about how he confided in you and you know it's true and this and that. I mean, that's a pretty big confession what he told you.
Yeah.
So, Twister, we were talking about it earlier. I don't know how serious they would take me. I'm on YouTube. So she knows she ruined her witness testimony purposefully. She just made a sound state mind. Quote, I don't know how serious they would take me. I'm on YouTube. And there's Doug pushing her to go to the Roy City Police Department for Chris McDonough. Bam. We got 24 minutes left, guys.
It happens there. It's about the totality of people. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're on YouTube or not. And let me say this too. You know, I've seen you talk on other shows, and I've seen your Facebook posts. I've always kind of I've always found you very authentic, and I do appreciate that you are kind of that you've let people in a little bit, because you know we all feel starved for information, and you probably take this more as a curse than anything. Nobody, you know, who wants to live next door to somebody whose kid goes missing and then it becomes international news? You know, that's never that they're going to dig up everything on anybody.
Well, I think international helps because if there's the remote,
It helps, but it doesn't. But it ruins what you've got going too.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, you've taken a
there
lot
was
of
bad
stuff.
timing. This was it. You know what I mean? I knew stepping out that we had our own domestic violence and all this other stuff going on, and our own circuses were going to collide. And now they do eat me alive, you know, on a constant basis. And the tactics used against me this whole time, even today, are extreme manipulation, gaslighting. I mean, y'all just can't even imagine. It's like being their abuser 24 hours a day. And it's like sitting beside Andy again every day, but it's the entire world doing it. And it's something to behold. But I've survived it for 26 years. And if it's what I got to do for a few days longer in order to find answers for Summer or save somebody else from living through the hell I've lived through for so long and these children and save a life for helps them escape, it's what I'm going to do. And but yeah, I mean, our circuses did absolutely collide.
Well, I think
And,
that you're an authentic person and an honest person, and I'm happy to meet you. I really am, Jody Sue.
I appreciate you coming up here and you know what? Again, it's about Summer Wells. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about Josh. It's not about McDonough. It's not about who the racist is, who isn't, but who's using this child as a moneymaker and not actually trying to find out what happened to this child. And this channel is about that. Josh in the lab is about that. Jody Sue, I believe you're about that. I believe McDonough's about that 100% too. And all the hate, when we're over the target, people get fired. It seems like all the good people are getting fired no matter what we do. And again, Jody Sue, I think you've received a lot of fire because you hold a lot of answers and put you over the target. And that's what we hope and we need, that you are able to. And I hope you have talked to TBI about everything.
You're standing up for Summer, and that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's the thing. When I came in months later, I got eaten off because they're like, "Why are you just now speaking out? You're lying." And I'm like, "Well, I hate that I didn't run to YouTube before the TBI." Like, what?
Yeah,
And now I'm getting the same thing again from newcomers that are international. They're like, well, "Who's this?" Because I don't have a YouTube account, right? So some of them are a little late to the game. And I'm like, "Who's this Jody Sue person? Why? I hope she told the cops. She needs to go tell the cops." So somebody, they need to call the police on this woman and tell them that she knows things. I'm like, "Oh God, please." You know, if there's, look, y'all, I assure you that I've talked to every law enforcement agency on earth you can imagine, and then I kept quiet, like I thought was best for months. You know, like, I'm sorry I didn't come to YouTube first. And I never meant to be on YouTube. My videos were meant to be on Facebook. And then TCC takes them. And what I know now was me lured into a certain spot and then lured near that fundraiser. And then I think they thought I was a dumbass hillbilly and things would go well. And in 4 or 5 days, they get Summer's whole story by recordings, this fake FBI agent and all sorts of shit. And, you know, do whatever and be like, "Oh, discredit, discount, whatever." You know what I'm saying? And it would be over and done with. But that's not how it worked out for them. And now I'm just a pain in their ass.
Good for you.
Might as well.
And all they've got to eat me with basically is either that I was, like, I've heard, "Well, you stood around and got beaten. You're a terrible person for that." Or, "Look at her voice today. She's obviously trashed." I'm not. I am not. I will take a piss test any day, anytime for anybody.
I say the same thing. I mean, they accuse all of us either you're a high or you're a racist. I mean, that's all they've got to go to now. You're either on drugs or you're a racist when it's them.
Somebody knows, but I've got videos of me posted of me actually at and with the head of MVP and Black Lives Matter here protesting the racists in Rogersville. I've got pictures of my family. I mean, I'm literally Mexican in Seminole, and they don't take my people. And I'm notorious for just going around terrorizing the Klan pop-ups, which is why they, they're like, oh, she's going to one. No, I mean, there's literal Klan pop-ups here that, like, let's go terrorize them and they're free hot dogs and pamphlets. Like, let's run them out of here. But anyway, I mean, if it's not that, it's my voice, even though I've posted videos of my real voice and how I really spoke before my surgery. And my voice does get tired, and it depends on how my body acts or what's going on with me.
Is it's a thyroid thing?
I have thyroid cancer, and I had a radical neck dissection. I don't know if you can see it, but
I can very well, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that will make
and
your voice weak.
It cuts through all my muscles, your pucker muscles, your face. It cuts through the nerve that connects your arm. So first of all, I couldn't even use my arm. And and I know you can't tell it well on camera, my neck looks still intact, but if you're beside of me, like my neck.
Which is why I stood up for her when Moselle took her domestic violence papers and did a handwriting assessment on them. She had nerves cut in the arm she writes with. Her handwriting is not her original handwriting anymore. She's fucking alien, question. She's alien. She's the Riddler from Batman. Only I'm waiting for Batman. Fuck the Riddler.
Is not even our circle anymore. They had to take out so many structures and try to cobble stuff back together. The muscles that are actually here now running everything were taken from a different area, and they were meant to go side to side, but now they're having to retrain to go this way. So what I have is from moment to moment sometimes, like the one operating function, I feel them twitching in different ways. My face goes numb, my tongue will go numb, and it changes. And even during this conversation, I know y'all noticed like it's getting a little bit harder. But then a lot of days the cue, and you can tell easily because right here on my bottom lip, you'll see two kind of spots come up, and it's my pucker muscles being pulled by the nerves inside. So there's a lot of structures that are going inside my neck. They've been cobbled back together. I was not supposed to wake up with a voice at all, and he saved some of it. And this is what I'm left.
Since it's gone, let's not kill the karma. Let's not start a fight. The innocence is gone. The innocence is gone.
That everybody wants to make fun of.
That's
My
not
speech is slower. It makes my accent worse. But I'll tell you, before the surgery, as you can see by the videos I posted down here, I got on people's nerves because I talked too fast, and my accent actually wasn't what everybody else's was, because my family taught us to speak where we had almost no accent if we traveled and things. And
that's
so
all they have. That's all they have to say. You're on drugs, or you're this, or you're that. People speak differently. People.
Your voice sounds way better than Doug's.
Different manner.
I was being pushed into surgery when they told me things had changed, and probably because of the beating where Andy tripped me in the car the day before and beat me, where one of the main masses were on my neck. But they said things had changed in a new scan that day, and he was going to have to take my voice entirely. And he tried his best to save some of it. And I was like, just stop the surgery. And I was like, never mind. I promised my papa I'd get this out of me any way I could, and I'm going to. So take the voice. Let's get it done. Get the cancer out of me. But they weren't able to. We didn't get clear margins, and now it's regrowing, whatever. But it's slower growing cancer. So we're leaving it right now and just watching it grow. Which I have other ones that are more of a concern, and the chances of lymphoma and breast popping up very soon are pretty high as well. And I'll need the radiation for those. So that's why we've decided not to do more radiation on this. Plus, the RAI that I took for the thyroid cancer didn't seem to do a whole lot of good. It attacked everything else, including my heart. And I have an aortic valve problem now and chronic pericarditis.
Can I send you some Nicorette gum or some other alternative to smoking?
Actually, fun fact, none of the cancers I currently have are caused by smoking, but FICA is the only cancer that your chances are reduced by half if you smoke.
Oh,
Fun fact.
A pack.
Smoke them if you got them.
They're not $10 a pack here, though. They're like
if
$5.
you got them.
Hey,
so y'all are paying those New York, California prices. We're paying Virginia, Tennessee prices. These bitches are like $5.50 with a coupon.
I just paid $5.50 for a gallon of gas. Just
yeah.
To get out the driveway. That gas station.
Ours here is high right now, and it's only like it's $2 something, almost $3 a gallon, and that's high for us.
That's
I'm sorry you're paying so much. This is why all your asses are on YouTube. Y'all can't smoke or drive anywhere without like having to take out a loan.
Jody, so I don't know if
I'll say 5 on 10 and 10 on 5.
I don't know if you can see the chat, but there's a lot of people watching, and there's a lot of messages. Most 99.9%. Thank you for what you've done there's a lot of people in here that appreciate. So just as many people that you feel, get to you and make fun of you, there's so many more out there that appreciate what you do.
Look, it annoys me about the voice and stuff, but I came in here like, notice I don't have to have a ton of makeup. I just don't give a shit. I'm at that age, and I'm just at that point in my life where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I do not care what the rest of the world thinks of me. That's not what I'm here for. I don't give a shit about anybody's opinion. I don't care what they want to do. Now, I don't like that whole greed bender they were on, and we have put out a Christmas list for kids that we were trying to find no way to have anybody discredit or use, but I'm sure they will.
What is that you have? What is that? Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. It's a Christmas list for the kids?
Yeah, like an Amazon thing, because we were trying to find somebody to do that, and it's like ick, right?
Why don't you fire that over my way?
The kids have literally been through hell because of YouTube and these creators, and terrorized to where even she was, the little normality she finally had back and going to school was taken for a while. Pure terror. And her brother being doxxed to college, it was just, what's been done is awful.
Let's talk offline, and because I'm interested in that, by the way.
And so the only two ways we could figure around that was by doing, say, like a PO box, but then only setting it up for a certain amount of days, say like 10, right? Showing a video of the open and closing of it in person, and only allowing it open for so many days. Also putting informed delivery in place, only allowing gift cards for merchandise only stores, no cash cards, no like Visa open cards, doing informed delivery to where everything was recorded coming and going and receipts added up to each card and posted every day. That seemed like a lot of trouble. And then somebody brought up the idea of Amazon wish list.
Yep.
So even though it still feels bad to my soul. It's like, man, these kids been through hell. So
no.
I'm going to allow it. The internet can eat me if they want to.
Okay, and, it's a fantastic idea.
But we were still careful about what we put on it because it's like, man, they see the wrong book title or something. They're like, look at this and start a new conspiracy theory. So, and I just want to make it clear for anybody to see that Amazon wish list that not all those items are expected or needed. But
is that on your Facebook?
It's not on my Facebook. It's being shared. I think maybe what Big Eyes others have it up. I know that it's
deserve a Christmas. Kids deserve a Christmas.
So. But I'll share it with y'all. Y'all can share it.
Yes, please. I'd be more than happy to.
But and it's our first time doing something like that, so I'll send it to Doug and Messenger,
please.
And y'all just make sure that it's not showing their address because I think we've set it up right, and we just want to make sure because I don't want any more danger or risk to them or our address coming out.
I'm going to give you my number too when you send me that, so you can contact me if there's anything you do need, or if you're stuck during Christmas time. I know people are asking if there's anything we can do for you.
Look, I don't want anything. This is about the kids. Those lists are absolutely theirs. I still don't want to send from shit. I just want to do what's right by other domestic violence victims in summer, and to I don't know, still don't want to see it.
Well, like you said, those kids do deserve a Christmas.
And you're a strong woman, and I appreciate you coming up here and not only sharing your story with us in the past over your own channels and your own social media, but I got a new sense of who Jody Sue is tonight. And
me too.
And that really means a lot because it takes us to a place where we can actually put things into place. And again, you gave us as much as you could, and I so appreciate that. And I hope that anything else that you give is straight to TBI, and if there's stuff that you want to release, or if you ever need a voice.
If I find the clues I'm looking here for on YouTube and elsewhere that I know were there early on, but I wasn't here for, and I'm having to look through thousands of hours of video and posts to find. If that time comes and I find the little pieces I'm looking for, trust me, the first person and people it's going to are the police and the feds, not YouTube.
Good for you.
So awesome. And if you ever need to speak out and you're stuck somewhere, or you need to talk to somebody, Josh and I here anytime for you. I'm sure anybody would definitely, and whatever you tell us outside of YouTube is obviously different and personal and confidential. You'll never be recorded or anything. I don't record anybody but Don Wells, and that's.
And I've had 4 conversations with that guy, and I almost released a phone call, and luckily the file got corrupted, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because he was screaming the N-word at me.
That's the thing. I set him off by one of my lives. He had done the N-word drop on somebody else the night before.
Yeah, Ziggy.
And then I had mentioned on one of my lives about how he was trying to sling bullshit.
Yeah.
Because one of the questions by the cops, we were all questioned up and down the community about, I guess, what we took as him trying to say there was this. It was almost like Scarface type things, like these POC males in like Escalades, shiny new Escalades coming out of Ben Hill. When the cops asked me that, and I think Andy was with me beside me, and I literally just slow blinked at them. That's not something that would have went unnoticed. And my other neighbors up and down Beach Creek, like as we were talking and we were being let in and out of Beach Creek, we'd find each other at the gas stations, other places. And like, girl, did they ask you? And I was like, yeah. And everybody have a good life about it. And like, that's Don's bullshit for the week, and who's blaming it on? They're like, what the hell? Well, I mentioned that on the live that I did in between the first N-word drop and then the, 40 time usage in 5 minutes on you the next night. That live seems to have triggered something, but it was bad. I was like, shit, I just got Josh tacked. He's real mad about the bullshit Scarface people coming in. And he said it was Knoxville. That's what got us there. Like, do you know these dealers coming in these cars from Knoxville that are POC? And we're like, what the hell is he trying to blame his own Knoxville people on somebody else? And what?
Well, do you know the
Community
connection between Knoxville and Atlanta?
If
I
someone
have
could
no
post
idea.
Jody Sue's Facebook, somebody
So-
could post that for me in the chat. I'd appreciate that.
Do you understand what she's saying? That Dawn had people coming from Knoxville. They think it's so funny and laughing that it couldn't be possible, but Dawn went to Fred to get Fred to go to Fred's dealers in Knoxville. Where those cars go into Fred's, Jody, we know the area is known for huge rug busts, right? James Light, you were involved in that. The little fish that snitched on the big fish. Chattanooga, ring a bell? Laura Tabs? I didn't hear her say that. Wow, did she say that? Crazy. Let's see, how much do we have left? We have 11 minutes left.
From so,
And people, I apologize. My videos, I've been unlocking and locking them off and on all day because of
People.
reasons.
People.
Well, I'm doing it to prove a point.
It's funny when you take content away from other people, right? It kind of ruins their day.
It really does.
you know, Knoxville, you can go in Knoxville. There's a bunch of different freeways to go a bunch of different ways. You know, when you get there. And one of the pipelines is straight down to Atlanta. Atlanta is the
I think most people here where we're Oxycontin Highway, we are the epicenter where we're at joins. We
Mhm.
are the crossroads for across the country.
Right.
But most people from Hawkins go to Del Rio or to Knoxville. I know Knoxville the past couple of years has been real big on the meth, fentanyl, the harder, in between the gravel and synthetics episode, which seems to have set off certain usages, because before that it really was just like mostly pills and stuff around here, right? And at least real meth. Then it became the gravel and things. Then it became the bathroom and bug spray and screen door dope. And now they're back on real meth. Now it's fentanyl and heroin. And these people do not seem like the old school heads to where they're coming back from it, even clean for a long period of time. These new heads, that hit all these new kinds of dope here, seems like they're forever and permanently not just burnt, but something's forever wrong with them to where they'll never ever come back like old school heads on real dope did.
Somebody in the chat just said, "I'm close to Knoxville. My son is in jail tonight for fentanyl." It's an epidemic, and you're right.
Don't bail them out. Let them sit.
Do you know how many funerals I've been to in the past years? I mean, literally most of my class is dead, y'all.
Yeah, I had a
Most of
friend
my
just
friends
this
are
year
dead.
from fentanyl.
Fentanyl, meth, I mean, you name it.
Comedians,
And,
actors, they're doing 1 line, 2 lines, and it's worth their whole lives. What is wrong with people? Get help.
I
if
know
you're on
somebody
drugs
the
or
other
something.
day that it took 9 Narcan to bring back. 9.
Oh my God! Wow.
For all the drugs that they say we're on, for us to still be alive would be a miracle. You know what I mean? For all the time they say we're on drugs or that we're racist, we would already be gone.
Do people accuse me of being on
I'm
drugs?
I'm definitely. I can speak for myself and probably Josh and now Jody Sue.
I smoke some pot.
And that's the thing. It's
It's
like
fine.
they keep talking about. I've never had a drug problem. I've never been an addict. Anybody in this community, you ask something like that, they would laugh because one of my least favorite things in the world is a joke. I mean,
I've been an addict before, man.
Well, I'm not talking about like average. I'm talking about like.
Jody, you went to jail for selling rugs. I don't think anybody would laugh. Chicken on a Stick came out here stating that y'all dabbled in rugs, right? Bullshit.
These out here that are just tearing up. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It's usually for me right now. And I think I hold anger because I've watched so many of my friends die and what it's done. But it's like, that's the reason Dawn and Candace were really not people. I mean, they'd forget or the mask would slip and they'd talk about that shit. I mean, like, it was just normal sunny weather talking to me until recently. I wouldn't even have a drink around my children. Like, they'd never even seen me at a restaurant have a drink. And the stick was firmly planted up my ass, and I even hated that Andy smoked. He promised me after the arrest, way back, that he would not even smoke again, like it was a no-go, wouldn't be up for the same shit, and here he is the same shit years later again. I'm like, dude, I'm out. Like, I just want this over before you get me to more shit. And, it's somebody staying high constantly on something that bothers me. I don't like that. I feel like they're not actually connecting with me, which, I mean, narcopath's not going to anyway, but, I mean, anything can be a crutch, but it can also be a medicine. And, I think it depends on the person and how it's used. I'm pro legalization. I'm actually pro decriminalization more than legalization because I don't think Coca-Cola and Chips Ahoy should have the rights to marijuana. But I think the small guy for once should be the ones profiting off of, and people that have spent prison sentences for something so silly should be the ones for once out here making money, not Chips Ahoy Nabisco having weed strains. So
Well, you've been a pleasure to talk to, honestly, Jason.
And the best guest that I've had, way better than Josh has ever been.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm somewhere in between 10.
You're nothing. You're nothing, Josh.
What's that? I know.
Doug just threw Josh away like he was nothing. Josh just threw
I
away
would
like
never
he
throw
was
Josh
second.
away. No, I would
I
only
have-
throw away him if he was something way bigger than me, because then I would be the throwaway. So
And I think it was Josh's letter that was read at the vigil that everybody suddenly didn't want to stream or show face at.
Yeah.
But I do recall that letter.
mine didn't get read after his. Mine said Don and Candace #FTFO. That's all I wrote.
Find out or fuck straight up.
You know what, Jody? So that letter that I wrote, that I was very surprised at the reaction that it got, because I just kind of did it. I did it probably about 2 a.m. I was sitting at my computer, and I started just kind of thinking, like, what exactly, like, what happened exactly? What was this little girl thinking? Because we all know how we felt when we heard and everything like that. But whatever happened, she experienced it, and I was so, like, just trying to wrap my mind around the thought of why did this happen, and why are you, like, what were you thinking about? Because I just felt really terrible about that, and it really still in my mind I think about, because I've been a little kid that's been terrified. You know what I mean? And I can only imagine that she was, and if she's still alive, it was just devastating. It's just devastating.
Can I ask one more question, Jody Sue? Who's the aggressor, and have you ever seen Don and Candace hit each other?
I've heard more often. I've heard the kids come out and say that, and not long before Summer went missing was one of the last times I heard it. It was like a little trail. One of the kids told the next, that come and got the older brother. And it was Dad's being mean to Mom again. And I've heard him start on her far more than. And of course, when they're both drunk, I've seen them run their mouths to each other. But I think Don's always been like, he wouldn't hit her for me. Just like, I know it's like today I was speaking to somebody else locally that had seen Candace come through the line at the store. I'm pretty sure it's where the bullshit came on the line earlier today was whatever. But there's a person here that works the store right up from me, and we were talking, and she had seen her come through the store many times, but that at one point she recalls her smacking Summer across the head and face, and calling her a dumbass and things, and that's something I've never seen in person.
Whoa.
And I've never seen Dawn hit Candace really in person. I've seen the aftermath. I've heard it over there, and I assure you that most of the time he is the aggressor. And of course, Candace, you're around it long enough. I mean, whatever, and the rub off. And I think she's her own brand of whatever and lived her own life and not aware enough to separate herself from, and probably her own, especially when drugs are involved with both parties, it gets really weird. Wherever you have alcohol and drug use, there can definitely be a two-party thing there. But for the most part, it's usually Don that I've heard be the aggressor. And I think what he does on the phone, especially with other females, should give you all the clue that he has no problem. He enjoys tormenting Candace or triggering her into, where then he can beat her, or she gets up and finally has enough with her own temper and this and that, you know what I mean? But it's meant to gaslight, and you have to be able to see that for what it is. And I told him the last time I talked to Candace, I was like, I told you not to hit her again, and you promised me that road the night Summer went missing, you wouldn't. I was like, but the other night on YouTube, I was like, you all beaten, and you hit her. But and he was mad. I could tell he's mad. Didn't really want to show his face. The last phone call I had with Candace or video chat, because I told him, I was like, well, joke or not, and y'all want to play it off like that was just a joke, and you didn't actually hit her. I know better, and I know you can hear me, Don, because he was in the background saying he was going to go to bed for work. I was
Hey,
like,
Don, if you're listening in the background, somebody just posted a comment on my channel. Arkansas says, FTFO Don, which means fuck the fuck off.
And I was like, I will legit come down there and break your kneecaps, bro. And, and then, of course, that conversation went sideways. And then I figured out very quickly she's up to stuff. I can discern that. I know she's doing what she, and I was just like, oh. And then obviously there's been no real conversation since. But yeah, they did have whole other personalities. Andy had far more contact than I did, but I was there and heard more then. You know what I'm saying? But they had different personalities for all of us and everybody they were around. But like other people saw her, including Andy, apparently be mean to Summer, but I never saw that. And then like friends and locals around here also had interactions with him in Gatlinburg and the Jose thing and all this other stuff that was going on. And
where's Jose?
Okay, hell if I know. Andy maintains that Don has murdered him.
Hell if I know. Hey,
like,
Don, if you're listening in the background, somebody just posted a comment on my channel. Arkansas says, FTFO Don, which means fuck the fuck off.
And I was like, I will legit come down there and break your kneecaps, bro. And and then of course that conversation went sideways, and then I figure out very quickly she's up to stuff. I can discern that. I know she's doing what she, and I was just like, oh. And then obviously there's been no real conversation since. Um, but yeah, they did have whole other personalities. Andy had far more contact than I did, but I was there and heard more then. You know what I'm saying? But they had different personalities for all of us and everybody they were around. But like other people saw her, including Andy, apparently be mean to Summer, but I never saw that. And then like friends and locals around here also had interactions with them in Gatlinburg and the Jose thing and all this other stuff that was going on. Me and we were talking, and she had seen her come through the store many times, but that at one point she recalls her smacking Summer across the head and face and calling her a dumbass and things, and that's something I've never seen in person.
Whoa.
And I've never seen Dawn hit Candace really in person. I've seen the aftermath. I've heard it over there, and I assure you that most of the time he is the aggressor. And of course, Candace, you're around it long enough. I mean, whatever, and the rub off. And I think she's her own brand of whatever and lived her own life and not aware enough to separate herself from, and probably her own, especially when drugs are involved with both parties, it gets really weird. Wherever you have alcohol and drug use, there can definitely be a two-party thing there. But for the most part, it's usually Dawn that I've heard be the aggressor. And I think what he does on the phone, especially with other females, should give you all the clue that he has no problem. He enjoys tormenting Candace or triggering her into, where then he can beat her, or she gets up and finally has enough with her own temper and this and the other, you know what I mean? But it's meant to gaslight, and you have to be able to see that for what it is. And I told him the last time I was Candace, I was like, I told you not to hit her again, and you promised me that road the night Summer went missing, you wouldn't. I was like, but the other night on YouTube, I was like, you all beaten, and you hit her. But and he was mad. I could tell he's mad. Didn't really want to show his face. The last phone call I had with Candace or video chat, because I told him, I was like, well, joke or not, y'all want to play it off like that was just a joke, and you didn't actually hit her. I know better, and I know you can hear me, Dawn, because he was in the background saying he was going to go to bed for work. I was
Hey,
like,
Don,
again,
if you're listening in the background, somebody just posted a comment on my channel. Arkansas says, FTFO, Don, which means fuck the fuck off.
and I was like, I will legit come down there and break your kneecaps, bro. And, and then, of course, that conversation went sideways, and then I figure out very quickly she's up to stuff. I can discern that. I know she's doing what she, and I was just like, oh. And then obviously there's been no real conversation since. But yeah, they did have whole other personalities. Andy had far more contact than I did, but I was there and heard more then. You know what I'm saying? But they had different personalities for all of us and everybody they were around. But like other people saw her, including Andy, apparently be mean to Summer, but I never saw that. And then like friends and locals around here also had interactions with them in Gatlinburg and the Jose thing and all this other stuff that was going on. And
Where's Jose
all
at?
kinds of, hell if I know. Andy maintains that Dawn has murdered him and
Hell
taken
if
the
I know. Hell if I know. Moving on.
Ask Doug. He'll tell you where he thinks.
Well, Andy has sworn up and down that that white truck was Jose's. But
Well, they
and
couldn't fit that in Allie's belly button, so they just took Jose instead.
but that it come back with Utah plates on it from Utah. I was like, and Don did leave in one truck and with the dirt bike, and he did come back in another. But Andy's maintained that that is Jose's truck. And I'm like, hell, I don't remember. I don't know. He was like, he's killed that guy and took his truck. But
Yeah, he drove the
I'm
school
like,
bus.
no. I'm pretty sure the feds, because I think at one point they did actually say they found Jose. So I'm pretty sure Jose's alive and well somewhere. I don't know.
I just hope he's getting. Well, I hope he can see.
Oh God, it's the crystal seal lady back.
Jose,
Oh, man.
can you see? Or breathe.
Have you ever caught one of our shows where it just went off the rails?
Like now.
I have, and I usually like just left the room.
Oh, what? You don't watch and laugh?
Oh,
Look, I'm pretty cool anywhere there's not yelling and drama and people talking over each other. That's where you'll see me be like, I
Yeah.
can't do it. It's too triggering for me.
Sometimes Doug and I, we just kind of start freestyling, you know.
I've seen it with you all in the buttons that seem like they're from the skate in circa 93 sound effects. I've seen it.
And you watch and you enjoy it, right?
Sometimes. I've got to get some of those buttons.
Yeah. Yeah. And then this is the one we always use when we pretend that Don's working. We always tell him he needs to keep it down, you know. And, then you can hear Allie yelling down the road. And we also have ones of like Doug just making a complete ass of himself. Like this one.
I'd say, did you say silent letter S?
Lick
hold on. I love when my kids call and say goodnight.
I don't know. They have been going hard on the Doug videos and past pages. Doug lately.
Who has?
Who's Doug?
Oh, there's literally a minute and 36 seconds left, and it just ends like this, and they say goodbye. Little Dev, thank you. I'm actually going to end now, and I probably won't be back till tomorrow, but I may be back tonight if I find some content. I don't know. I kind of sort of want to make some videos tonight, and I hear babies running around. We were going to make, Nilla wafer cookies with the cream cheese and cherries. I think I might do that with the kiddos tonight. I'm not sure. So, yes, thank you, little Dev. I'm sorry you didn't get your notification. I don't know why. But I'd like to thank you all for being here. And you made banana pudding. Oh, that sounds so good. I've been eating so bad since the holidays. I need to stop. It needs to quit. It really needs to quit. And then I get out here and tell on myself. But at least after today, after I make these cookies and my husband comes home and hopefully eats the rest of the candy, all the garbage in the house is fucking gone. All right, guys. I might be back tonight. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know. It depends what happens on the streets. I'm hoping somebody else goes live. It's been extremely boring on the YouTube streets. But all right, guys. Pez amore. Peace and love. Hopefully I'll see you later tonight. If not, tomorrow, maybe a video. You never know over here. All right. Bye.